Is this the Russians? Yep. Okay. So this is funny. Now, the way that these fucking idiots jump, they jump in a T-pose. I don't know why they do this, because what's about to happen is why you don't do this. Yup. Oh. Yeah. You see it slow motion, his fucking risers grab his arm. His bicep is torn 100%.
Oh, yeah. Yes, brother.
Brother! Welcome back to another episode of the Barracks Party. It's me and Blake again. Dude, it's us. It's us. I went to the Renaissance Fair yesterday. Also, there's not a lot to talk about, so we're just going to fucking hang out, talk a few topics, and I'm going to show him some fucking awesome, horrible airborne shit. We're gonna do it old school style. I think that's what I'm gonna start doing from now on. Is I'm gonna try to find some fucking either hilarious or horrific military fails throughout the week.
I like it.
And then we're going to talk about them.
I like it.
I know Nico Ortiz does it, but I used to do shit like that all the time, and I haven't been. Then again, like, I used to show people some really horrible things that I would not be able to show on YouTube. and all of us would watch it together, and everyone would be like, why are you showing me this? I'm like, because your reaction makes me laugh. My wife and I have had this conversation. She even says, you find people's discomfort funny. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know why.
Because you're fucked up. That's why.
I am very fucked up. Like, I'll give you guys an example here. So my wife is a very sweet person. She's a sweetheart. There are things in life that she has never done. One of them was go to a strip club. Yeah.
I just took Kate to one the last weekend.
Did you really? She'd never been to one?
Never been to one.
What was her reaction?
She was just like, what the fuck? See, now here's what she thought. We went into it and she thought it was like, oh man, like you just go, like, it's just very like just horny and like everyone's walking around with boners and stuff like that. And I was telling her leading up to it, I'm like, you go there as like, it's like comedy. It's funny. Like it's just funny, really. And
there
kind of like you're just kind of like, huh? You know what I mean? Like you're just kind of looking around like, what the fuck? And we get there and she like understood it within like the first half hour. She was like, I see what you mean now. Because, you know, you're walking around and you're watching chicks go to the top of the pole and then let go and drop down. And she was like, what the fuck? And I'm like, I know! You could do that!
The thing is, it's like
crazy.
Well, unfortunately, when we went really early. And so, like, the good shows weren't happening. So it was like a very, very slow. It was honestly, in my strip. We also determined that I've been to strip clubs a lot and I didn't realize it. I was like, I've only been to them like a few times, and then I just happen to know a lot about strip club culture that I didn't realize that I was knowing. So I was explaining to her, I'm like, yeah, usually it's like this. Just like, how many times have you gone? I'm like, probably like, I don't know, 5-10 times. And then I realized like, oh no, I've gone a lot more than that, haven't I?
I think last weekend was maybe my 4th time at one in my life. I'm not a huge fan of them. Honestly, this is the first time I walked into one and actually like had a good time. Usually I'm like, I don't like this here. Yeah. I think it was being with her and both of us just like laughing and being like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
It is a different experience when you are a couple at a place like that. It's not because, you know, you don't feel like a weird dude. You don't feel like
I didn't.
There was one time I went to this strip club. And it was for my cousin's bachelor party. Didn't expect to go. We're like, are we going to the titter or what? So we went, and we ended up spending our entire fucking night there. And I really didn't want to, but I was only there for the drinks. Everybody, all the other guys. And it's funny because if you're a guy and it's your birthday or it's your bachelor party, they will bring you on stage and beat the shit out of you. They had him up there and they had like belts. They took his belt off and were like fucking whipping him. And he's like crawling away from them and they're like, bam, bam, on his ass. Awesome. And he's like, crawling around and shit. His buddy rented the VIP section. There was these two girls that were strippers there. They were twins, and they were talking. And I even asked. I even went out to him, and like, of course, one dude was all like, "Yeah, dude, I've always wanted twins and shit like that." And then here's me, Brock, being Brock, like, "But you guys are twins, right?" Like, yeah. I'm like, "So y'all do naked shit together? You don't find that weird?" And they just kind of looked at me, and I'm like, "I don't know. I wouldn't get naked with my brother." I'm just saying. And then they were talking about how, like, they were telling this guy for the right price that they would fuck him. I'm like, "So you guys hook up with guys together?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Isn't that like incest?" And then they just disappeared. They never came back. They never came back to us. And they're like, "Dude, what the fuck?" And I'm like, "I'm just pointing it out. That's
just making a point.
Making a point.
Something
here.
They probably never really thought about.
It's something they never. They probably. I think I might have changed their lives. Honestly, who knows?
They might have quit that night. They
might have quit that night. They might have gone to school the right way and just done things, things that would make their dad proud. But,
if you're working at one, your dad was never really around. Let's be honest.
True.
You probably don't care to make your dad proud if you're working at a strip club.
No. But yeah, I've come to realize, like, as my time in Italy, especially, I was at strip clubs a lot, and mostly because, like, I used to hang out with people, and those people were motorcycle clubs, and their clubhouses they owned strip clubs, so their parties were at strip clubs. So I was going. I remember one time it was my birthday, and they took me to the strip club for my birthday because there was an Italian porn star that night, and they had me on stage, like, and I'm like, oh, I was like, no, I do not want to go on stage for my birthday. Because I know what happens. They beat the fuck out of you. In Europe, they don't do that. I found out right away. They don't do that. So this fucking... And by the way, this porn star was horrifying. She was old. Plastic surgery. She looked like fucking... Who's that one celebrity chick? She's older. She's like a fashion mogul or whatever. And her face is like... She looks like a swollen cat. That's how bad her fucking plastic surgery is.
Disgusting.
Yeah. That's what this chick looked like. And so, obviously, like, she hands me a dildo. And I'm like, why? What am I doing with this? I'm like, well, you ain't used this shit on me. And no, I had to use it on her.
Oh.
Yeah. I was like,
that's weird.
I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. All right. So anyway, so she had never been to one, so I took her to one, and it is very interesting there because I told her, she was like, what would people think about me being there? I'm like, they will not care. Like, they don't. I'm like, you are definitely not going to be the only chick there. And also it's just a very different vibe when you're a chick there. Because, like, you'll see these guys and they're all fucking weird dudes just hiding in the corner. It's funny because you would think that guys in a strip club are like feral guys with hard-ons. It is not the case. It's not the case. They are shy boys hanging out in the back corner, like, here's $1. And then, like, go get a dance and stuff, and they're like all timid and shit and shy. There are very few guys that are actually like, yeah, girl. That almost never happens.
And those are the guys that are the regulars. Like, they know their name.
They know my
That's
name.
not the guy you want to be.
They think the girls love them, so they just spend their whole life savings on them. Like, the worst times I've gone there where it's like the dudes that are sitting there around the stage are the guys that you would see at church. Just like, they're married, but they're super depressed, and because their wife won't fuck them, and like the only tit they get to see is if they pay for it. So, and it's very, very depressing.
Speaking of, like, the whole, like, the vibe is different for women in a strip club. Like, before we went in there, I was like, letting her know, I'm like, you're probably gonna have, like, it's not gonna be as weird for you. Like, at first when you walk in, but, like, they're not gonna be, like, too weird to you like they would to the guys.
Yeah.
And she walks in and we get our drinks, and then there's this one girl dancing next to us, and she had a dollar bill hanging out of her ass, like next to the brown. The chocolate starfish, dude. And fucking, I was like, here, I pulled out a few ones and I gave it to Kate. I'm like, here, take it and give it to her. She was like, oh, okay. She walks up to her and like, you know, gives her a couple ones. And the girl sees her and she like stops dancing, gets up and like gives Kate a hug and is like, oh, thanks, honey. Appreciate it, sweetie. And she was like, what the fuck? And I'm like, that's the difference right there. They hug you. For us, they're like, thanks. The fuck away from me unless you want to pay for the fucking dance.
Right. Basically, the vibes are different for the girl.
Yeah.
So, and another thing that people also are always like, why don't they just get fully naked? I'm like, you don't want them to. You really don't. You don't want. There are parts that you just do not want to see. And I found that out because there is a full nude strip club here in Wisconsin, but it's like all the way up by the Dells, and it's fucking. It was crazy because when I went there, I went there with my ex, and she wanted to go, and we went with her and her friends, and her fucking mom. It was horrible, and but it was like there were so many people. They had like fucking 10 stages, and it was like. It was depressing because like the girls would be on one stage and the next stage and the next stage, and in between songs, someone would come up with a push broom and broom their money towards them, and they're just on their knees like trying to grab it all up while this person's sweeping money into their face, and it was just like, what? How dehumanizing this is. And but it was also full nude, right? So these chicks were taking all of it off, and like this chick was like bent over in front of me and then twerking, and it was horrible because her fucking asshole like like and it's just like you could see inside her body, and I hated it. I fucking hated it. I was like, like just like that.
My another like big part of the reason we went is because one of my buddies, he had never been to one, and we've been talking about taking him to one for the past like 2 years, but we just never did. And I was like, oh, like it was a couple weeks ago. I was like, Kate's coming in town, you know, let's all of us go together. Like this would be really funny, you know. So we're like, okay, cool, whatever.
Like funny because you laugh at her discomfort.
Yeah, just like to watch them both ogle at like all of what's going on, right? Because again, he had never been, right? And he's a very timid guy, doesn't talk a whole lot kind of guy, you know what I mean? So we get there, and the first like 20 minutes of us getting there and like finding a table to stand around, he's like, this is very different than what I expected. Like he had it in his head just like Kate had it in her head about it, that everybody's walking around with like full blown erections and like everyone's naked and all this kind of stuff. And he's like, yeah, this isn't what I was really expecting. And he's sitting there and girls are coming up to him and stuff, and finally this one comes up to him, and he's like, he told himself in his head, he's like, you know what, I'm gonna go get a dance and see what it's like, right? And the chick comes up, they're talking, and he's like, all right, I'll be back. He goes back to the VIP section for like 10-15 minutes, and then comes back, and he goes up to my buddy, my old roommate, and he goes, hey, you got any cash on you? The ATM's not working. And the girl's like sitting right behind him, just
yes, they follow you around, just like, are you gonna pull money out or what?
Yeah, and so my buddy starts laughing, and I see him going into his wallet, so I start laughing because I realize what's going on. And he gives him the money, and he gives it to her, and she like puts her purse on her table, all pissed off, and is like counting it, and like throws it the purse, and fucks off without a word being said. And then he goes, yeah, and we're like, how much did you pay for that? He goes, well, she asked 40, I haggled her down to 30.
Oh my god,
I was like, you just haggled with a stripper.
Oh, dude, in Italy, we had a stripper dipping.
What?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, by the way, in Europe, most of the strippers are from Eastern Europe, and like they're Romanian and Ukrainian and shit like that. So, it's very different vibes there because you don't tip them on the stage. Mm-hmm. You buy them drinks. That's how they make their money, private dances and drinks. And they will hang out with you, but you have to keep buying them drinks, and they'll hang out with you. Essentially, they're hookers. So,
yeah,
the end goal is to get a private dance out of you or make you pay to fuck them. But you have to keep buying them drinks, right? So, my buddy had my soldier. He was going. I was staying sober because I had just gotten my wisdom teeth taken out. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I'm on fucking narcotics. I cannot drink right now. So I just went, I was like, I'll be your guys' DD. Or I'll be the sober mind that makes sure that you guys stay out of trouble. So I went, and this one, like my soldier was a fucking massive dipper. Like he would fucking horseshoe that bitch. And the chick that was like, why do you all like that? Why do you American guys like that? I'm like, have you ever had it? And she's like, no. I'm like, you want to try it? And she's like, kind of. And my buddy was like,
yeah.
He like opens the thing of coke and hands it to her, and she's just like, what do I do? Just pinch it? I'm like, you just pinch it, put it in your lip, and I handed her a plastic cup, and I put like a napkin in it. And I said, and then you just spit in this. And she's like, that's it. And I was like, yep. And then that's what she did. She just she had it in, and she kept that shit in the whole time. She's like, this feels great. And I'm like, it won't later.
Why we do it?
That's why we did. I said, your first time. I'm like, yeah, be careful though, because it feels great. But I'm like, do not take it out too soon. You take it out too soon, you're going to yak. Like, so she kept that shit in. And then my buddies wanted to go back. So I went back, and then she was there. She walked up. She's like, you guys got dip?
That's awesome.
this little Romanian chick's like, do you guys have the Copenhagen? And I was like, yep, here you go. You know.
She's probably getting that. She's probably getting that from dudes every single night. She's like, anybody got dip? You got any dip on you?
And it's throwing them all off. Like, what the fuck? I mean, she's obviously either dead or not there anymore, because this was like 10 years ago. But yeah. So anyway, back to the whole thing of like me laughing at discomfort. So Alicia is not she does not like these kinds of places. She's never been to one, right? So she's very nervous, very uncomfortable. And then we get her there, and she's very, very I get her there. She's very uncomfortable. She's like, this is very interesting. I don't think I like it, and stuff. So I'm not pushing her to get a dance or anything. I'm like, just tip. When they're done with their dances, they do their rounds around the bar. You just hand them the couple bucks. That's it. You don't have to do anything else. And I was laughing the whole way there. I'm like, I cannot wait to see you inside of this place. She's like, you find enjoyment out of people's discomfort. I'm like, I really do. I don't know why, but I really, really do. And it's like, I know there's a line to it where it's like, I understand the person's uncomfortable. I'm not going to pressure them into something they don't want to do. It's something that they'll want to do, but they're very unsure about it because they're uncomfortable about the thought. So it's like, but you know what? Yeah. But you want to see it. Like, you're curious. Let's go. And I'm going to enjoy every second of the fact that you hate it when you get there. And then I even said, like, when you want to leave, we will leave. I said, however, to get your money's worth, we will have to stay at least a half hour.
Yeah.
2 hours later, we leave. And I told her, because that's the other thing about these kinds of places. Time is like is a void. Like those places are time vacuums. You don't even realize how long you've been there until you look at your phone and see how long you've been there. And she's like,
I was gonna say strip clubs and casinos.
Yeah,
time vacuum.
No
idea.
And I told her, she's just like, all right, 30 minutes and stuff. And then she's like, when she was ready to go, I'm like, well, I said, you went well over the 30 minutes. She's like, how long has it been? I'm like, we've been here for 2 hours. And she's like, what? And I was like, I told you, time is just, time doesn't, when you're in here, everything that happens outside is like gone. Everything in here is like, it feels the same, but time goes on without you outside. So, but I was very proud of her for doing that, because, it was a very uncomfortable thing to do. But then also I realized like how many of these I've actually gone to, and I'm probably a derelict. So anyway, back to the whole laughing at discomfort. That's the whole like premise of the things that I used to do on podcasts, would show people the worst of the worst that I can find on the internet and make them watch it with me while I laugh at them. Because I'm watching it and it's either gross or horrible. And I laugh at that kind of shit. And then I look at them and they're like, and I laugh even harder. And then if it's gross enough to where they're gagging, I lose it. I lose it. That is like, if someone's like, oh my, and then I die in laughing. It just makes me feel the most joy. Am I just a dead person inside? Am I dead inside? Is that why these things make me laugh?
No, I think you're just a little bit of a dick.
I'm a broken person. I'm a broken man. Yeah, like that was the thing. It's like, of course, it's a podcast with Brock. If he's not showing you videos of like the most horrific porn or shit, like actual shit, you're not on an episode with Brock. Yeah, and that's why they say it's just another episode, another podcast with Brock, isn't it? And that's why, because we are in the Barracks Party, there are things that I will not show my guests. I mean, I might show you, But I won't show
I wouldn't
y'all.
put it past you.
I won't show y'all. Eventually, I'm trying to. If it weren't for the fact that you are not in the same room with me, that's the only reason why I don't show you things. Because it's like I have to stream it to you.
Yeah.
And there are sometimes mistakes that I make in the process of that. I had a buddy of mine. We were watching this chick eating a shitty corn cob, and you could see that in the reflection of a photo I have hanging up here. It's like it's a map of Middle Earth, and it's in a frame, and then you could see it off the reflection. So I had to go in there, and I caught it. And I'm glad I caught it because I had to go into my edit and like figure out how to blur the reflection. But you can't tell that I blurred it. It just looks like a weird reflection.
Unless you know it's there.
Unless you know it's there. And I knew it was there because you could literally see this chick putting a corn cob in her ass and eating it. Like, ugh. And then shitting all over it and then just eating it. Anyway, so.
Disgusting. That's disgusting.
That's the experience of being on the Blacklisted Gaming podcast, which I don't really do that much anymore. But because it's the Barracks Party, I cannot do that to the guests.
Keep it relatively PG-13 around here.
No, it's rated R, but it's not rated like R, you know.
It's not adult.
It's adult enough to where I will plant the seed in your mind, but I will not show you. You know what? There's going to be a day where I figure it out, and I will show you things. We'll go back to that. We'll go back to the shock jock that I am. Before we get into the most horrific things that I can find on YouTube that make me laugh inside, we're going to go over a couple of topics because there's not very many of them, so we can breeze through them. In the military world, I will say this. The Army leadership has been seeing some fucking horrible things. Like the Army leadership, we counted, there was 3 or 4 in the last 2 weeks relieved of command due to loss of trust and confidence. And most of them, they don't tell you why. One of them we know because it was alcohol, and it was the 173rd. I am not shocked. Those motherfuckers are drunks. They get into a fucking drunken brawl every weekend. The other one is a female sergeant major who's actually part of our topic because she's the only other one that we could find reasons of why they got rid of her. And it was because she was sleeping with subordinates, apparently. So we'll talk about that. A military veteran pleads guilty to illegal possession of ricin. And if you don't know what ricin is, it is a lethal substance that's often used in like poisoning.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what even is ricin?
It's the same stuff they used, like spies would use. They'd like hide them in like a false tooth or something.
I thought that was cyanide.
And I thought maybe it's both. I can Google it really quick while you're going over the.
Yeah, look up what ricin actually is. So this is not about the U.S. military, but it's about the Taliban. So the Taliban morality police dismisses over 280 men without beards because they can't grow them. And I find it funny and ironic that the Taliban has a morality police, you know, because we all know the morals of the Taliban are just, you know, next level good. That they need to have police. Like, we got to keep our morals and values in line, guys. Like, we are a cultured society of the modern age. We cannot be going around without beards. In this one, our last military topic, which is one that I found funny because we've all thought about doing this. Army veteran faked his death to avoid paying bills. And it's funny, me and my wife often talk about faking our deaths and leaving the country and like living our own life. And I'm like, that's a felony. But I get where the idea comes from, you know, like the economy sucks. And I too wish I was dead so I don't have to pay bills, you know? In gaming, there's not very much gaming, but there's one thing this happened months ago, but me and Blake just found it yesterday. And that is Twitch's TikTok-like discovery feed is rolling out. So I did a Twitch update on my phone because he was live and I wanted to see what, like, you know, tune in to see if he was still live. TikTok had Twitch had an update. I did the update and it's literally like a TikTok feed now of people you're following. It's no longer just who's live and then like, you know, recommended channels. It's all like streaming through fucking TikTok lives now. That's what Twitch has turned into.
I'm sure they're just trying to actually have discoverability, because I mean, for so long, discoverability wasn't really a thing on Twitch. Like, you had to post your clips and streams to other platforms to get anybody to really find you. Like, it was very hard to, it still is pretty hard to get like people naturally on Twitch to watch you.
I know. And then, you know what? I need to stream again. Everyone's like, why don't you stream anymore? I'm like, I just don't have it in me anymore.
You got the voice for it.
Everyone tells me that. Everyone says your streams are entertaining. And I just don't know. I just don't really feel the urge to do it anymore.
Also, ricin comes from a plant. It's a seed, like a producing the seeds of the castor oil plant.
What?
So that's where ricin comes from. Yep.
So the same things that we use for cooking is the same thing that can be used for like murder. Gotcha. And another round of layoffs, because the gaming industry has a layoff every 2 weeks. Ubisoft lays off 45 from U.S. offices. Restructuring results in job cuts across Ubisoft San Francisco and Red Storm Entertainment. The games industry is on fire.
Yes.
It's on fire, dude. And it's sad because you see, last year was a very successful year in gaming. And now we're going into we are more than halfway through 2024, and we've seen more people lose their jobs from January to now than all of last year. Hell, we saw in the first 4 to 6 months, we saw more people laid off than we did in the entirety of 2023. It's fucking crazy. Bungie's done layoffs, I think, 2 or 3 times this year. I think it's less than that, honestly, but everyone's laying people off. And streaming services raise their prices every 5 months. It's insane. Fucking. Just the economy. I blame the economy. And then there's a game that actually just came out last week called Black Myth Wukong, and is now Steam's second most played game. So, and it's kind of crazy because I've seen a lot of people hate on this game, mostly because they didn't realize how hard it was going to be. It was never marketed to be like a Souls-like game. And it is kind of akin to Souls-like when it's this difficulty. It's not a Soulsborne game in its structure and its makeup, but when it comes to the bosses and fighting them and how hard they are, everyone's saying this game is so fucking hard. Not everyone, but the people that aren't expecting it are saying this is so hard they refunded the game. Because they didn't want to play a game like that.
I haven't seen that. Like, it makes sense. That's honestly, I didn't know anything about this game until it came out and people were talking about it. And I was like, this kind of looks like a Souls game, like a similarity. And that's why I'm like, I want to play this.
I want to play it because I think it looks gorgeous. It's a good looking, and it's funny. The thing that sold me on it was the fucking dude flying on a flying Nimbus.
Yeah.
And I was just, that's very Goku. And then I come to find out, I think it's Toriyama got the inspiration of the Saiyans from this character. So how long has the Wukong character been a thing?
Long time.
I didn't know that.
I don't know anything about it.
Neither do I.
I found out the same way. The game came out, people were like, Goku is based off of this character. I was like, huh, I didn't know that.
I didn't either. I was very surprised by that. I'm like, oh, I see the parallels now. The giant monkeys, the flying Nimbus, the using a staff to fight. It's
which apparently in the lore of that character, that staff is like multiple tons. And at some point in his like lore, like he used the staff to hold up the galaxy or something crazy like that. Like he's like the all powerful being or whatever in his world, which I think is interesting.
See, the lore like that is enough to make me want to play it. No matter, regardless of the difficulty. I've played Souls games. I have kind of a love-hate feeling of them. I enjoy them still. Elden Ring, I loved Elden Ring, even though it made me feel things. I There was even days where I would go to the gym and just listen to the boss music of the boss that I was having a hard time with.
Just get pissed off at him.
And just like, and it's funny because it would work. Because I would go to the gym and listen to that boss music as I'm working out and just be like, I'm going to fuck you up when I get home. And I would. and I did. It was fucking, who's that one dude that's on the bridge? Is his name Moog or some shit like that?
One of the first ones, right?
Yeah, one of the first ones. I
don't remember his name, but I know what you're talking about.
I think it's Moog. I was stuck on this dude for the longest time. Mm-hmm. And it was my first real Elden Ring boss, right? Mm-hmm. So everything else I was just kind of like getting used to fighting. Oddly enough, the horses, the guys on the horse, the knights on the giant horses, people struggle with that. I never got killed by those. I always beat them.
I struggled.
I don't know what it is. I realized that there are some enemy types that I can really fight very well, and there's others that I can't. Those horses, those dudes on those horses, I never lost a fight with any of them. Even my first encounter with them, I kind of figured out their pattern very easily and realized that I can just do a fucking evasive roll towards them and they won't hit me, and then I can just hit them in the ass. And that's basically what I did. That's how I fought them. That's not true. There was one knight that I had a really hard time with, and that was the one that was at the gates of the Golden City or whatever it's called. And he fucked me up a lot, mostly because he had projectiles.
He had the lightning or whatever.
He had lightning.
Weird like that.
Lightning was the one thing that I had a really hard time fighting against, was lightning. And he fucked me up.
I was very hard-headed with that game. Like, it was the first game I ever streamed, and I played it from start to finish. I spent 3 days on the final boss, just straight, right? And like, I remember people started coming in and watching me and being like, hey, you should probably do this, or go upgrade this weapon type or this style, and then take them that way. It's a lot easier. And I was like, no. I went through the game as a fucking brute the entire time. I used one sword, the fucking it's like one of those side bosses or whatever that doesn't really matter, but it's like the Bloodborne sword, like the wolf guy. I can't remember the name of the sword.
That's the sword that I used a lot too.
I used that for probably 90% of the game until I got the blood katana, and then I switched to that. But I just went after it as a fucking brute the entire time. And then I finally beat the game after 3 days on the final boss, and I went scorched earth for about 2 hours on the plus with all my upgrades, and ran through all the beginning bosses up until I went into an area that I didn't even know existed on my first playthrough, and got killed by one of those little hallway things that runs down with all the spikes and shit. And then I turned off the game and haven't touched it since.
After I beat Millennia, I hadn't touched it since.
I never fought Millennia. I was too afraid.
I wasn't. I'm like, I have to. If I'm going to play this game, I have to fight Millennia. I
got to go back and play it.
It's just a thing inside of me where I got this far. No, I beat Millennia and then I finished the game. But I had to beat Millennia before I finished the game. And I know this is going to be a controversial thing to you fucking Soulsborne weirdos. I used a mimic at the end. I was trying to fight her normal. Couldn't do it. I had a really hard time. I got close several times. But there was just, I don't know, just some of her attacks I really, really struggled with keeping the pattern on and, staying on top of it and evading at the right times, because she heals herself when she damages you.
Yeah.
And you basically have to not get hit by her in order to beat her.
Yeah.
So I just had a mimic, and I had the fucking 2 katanas. I had the blood katana, and I just said, come here, we're going to use 2 of me now, bitch. So, and I fucked her up, like, even in her second phase, me and the mimic, let her fight the mimic, and I'm just behind her, like, just slash, like, just a straight brute thing that I did. I had a hard time fighting her, and I beat her. I'm like, you know what? I don't care what people say. I used a mimic. I didn't use a summon. I guess you can consider it a summon, but I used a mimic. which is just basically a second me. I didn't ask another person to help me and shit like that. I just used my mimic and just called it a day.
That's how I beat the game on the final boss after 3 days. I went and found the mimic and used that. That was the only way I could beat it, because the motherfucker flies off so far, and then you gotta try to get to him. He's got all these fucking damage shit that I kept running into, and finally, like, the mimic got the last few blows in.
See, the
thank God.
Melania is the only enemy that I use a mimic on. Like Moog, the blood god, or whatever the fuck his name is, the one that he uses the blood and shit to fuck you up, because blood in that game will fuck you up. I kept at that one until I finally legit beat him.
Yeah.
But I didn't. That sword you were talking about, I didn't realize it had a secondary attack for the longest time.
I didn't either.
Where you
Someone had to tell me.
Someone like who, I don't know who it was that told me. It was a person that was just, I was in a VC with. He's like, "Why are you not using the other attack?" I'm like, "What other attack?" You know, the one where you teleport and slash. I was like, I didn't know that was a thing, and I did it, and I'm just like, I've been using this wrong the whole time. I just have been thinking you have to do like the backflip spinny thing. And I didn't realize that you do the backflip spinny thing and then you hit it again and do the fucking lunge. I did not know that that was a thing.
I didn't either for a long time. I went through a lot of the game without it, and I was like, what?
I know.
It brought me back to all my past fights, and I was like, if I would have known about this, I would have gotten through them much faster.
Oh, absolutely.
It's funny, too, with those games, like, especially with people watching, you go up to a fight, people are like, oh, you're going to have a tough time with this fight. And then it was like, for some reason, always those fights, I'd go in and beat them first, second try. Not hard at all. I was like, that was easy. And they're like, huh. Yeah, I thought you were worse than this. That's impressive.
It was the same for me, because and then it'd be the opposite where, oh, that one's not so bad. And that one would body me every time.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I can't. Why is this one so hard? What made you think it was easy? But it's everybody's play style. Sekiro is another game that
I couldn't finish it. I got too upset.
Honestly, I stopped. I didn't finish it, and it wasn't because I got too upset. Another game came out, and I ended up just getting like hyper fixated on that. And I'm really close to the end, I think, and I was just like, I don't know if I want it to be done yet. Because I was like, am I really that close to the end already? It felt like that there was more that I was missing.
There's a lot with those games that, like, you can choose to just streamline it to the end, or you can play it for hours and hours and hours and hours and find everything. Yeah. Like, there's so much shit. Like, and I think I put maybe 200 hours into Elden Ring and didn't even get near to actually seeing everything that the game had to offer.
The thing about Sekiro that I really like is that it's all about timing and parry. Straight up sword dancing. And as frustrating as that could be, I actually really enjoyed that. Even though I would fuck up a lot, but like just it was satisfying to get in those sword fights and, you know, just fucking pang, 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 pang. And then you finally get the death blow. And I was like, fuck you. You know, it felt so
It was very satisfying about that. I got to what was it? Technically the first fight, but you could call it the second, with the guy that you fight at the very beginning and lose your arm.
Oh, yeah.
I got to that fight at the top of like the little tower house or whatever in that city, and I couldn't get past it. It took me days. I couldn't get past it, and I just quit playing.
I looked up. A lot of people quit on that one, honestly. I was like, am I fighting him wrong? And I was, because I would get him to the point where I could use a death blow on him. But for some reason, I just couldn't get the death blow. There was a way to fight him that I was not doing. And I couldn't figure out what it was, so I had to look it up. I said, so what's the way you're supposed to fight this guy? And I looked, I'm like, oh. And then I would do it, and I was getting farther and farther while doing that, and I just still was like fucking up. It was user error. All of it was user error. But I had to like look up how do you fight this guy? You know? Because the first phase, obviously, I think this guy had 3 phases to him.
I think so, yeah. I think I got through 2 phases. I could never get through the third because I was out of health by then.
Apparently the third phase is the shortest one. It's the easiest one. Yeah, the third phase is the only thing is the third phase. He shoots lightning at you, of course. Yeah, lightning, and in the third phase with the lightning thing, it's there's a way to parry the lightning, and I wasn't doing it. I was trying to avoid it, and it would still fuck me up.
I would fail the parry of the lightning like every time. And like I said, I would always be out of health by that time. I'd have like half a health bar and no like potions to get it back up. So it's like if I don't parry it, I'm dead. I think I parried it one time, but it didn't really like. I did something wrong after that. There was like another thing you were supposed to do or button you had to press in a certain amount of time, and I couldn't.
It's like you parry.
I could never figure it out.
It's like you parry it and you throw the lightning back at him.
Yeah, I couldn't get the throwing lightning back at him part.
That was the one thing that was the other part that I was like, okay, what am I doing wrong? I know I'm supposed to throw it back. How the fuck do I throw it back?
Yeah.
And I couldn't figure that part out. I had to look it up. I eventually beat him. The other one was the fucking, this might be a spoiler, is your old master. You have to fight him. Same spot too.
Really?
Fight him in the same tower. He was a pain in the ass because he is also a fucking shinobi. So you gotta like, he knows your tactics. So it's hard. But eventually I got him. Anyway, let's dive into these topics so I can make you watch funny and horrible things. What's up, guys? Regiment in this podcast is brought to you by G Fuel, the ultimate energy drink for gamers. G Fuel uses a special blend of vitamins, antioxidants, and other natural caffeine resources to keep you from having those jitters or even that crash that you normally would have from other energy drink brands. So whether you're having a long gaming session or you're just having a long day and need a pick-me-up, G Fuel definitely has you covered. G Fuel also has a wide array of flavors to choose from. But if you don't know what flavor you want to try, they also sell variety packs on their website, and they even come with a cool shaker. So head on over to gfuel.com and use promo code REGIMENT at checkout to get up to 30% off. That is REGIMENT, promo code REGIMENT down here at checkout to get up to 30% off. So, ricin. Military veteran pleads guilty to illegal possession of ricin. So a Marine Corps veteran who authorities said tried to fake his own... What?
This is another fake his own death thing. Yeah, this is the ricin one.
Is it this? They both faked their deaths? They did. A Marine Corps veteran who authorities said tried to fake his own death after falling out with a Virginia-based militia group pled guilty Wednesday to illegal possession of ricin, a biological toxin. Russell Richardson Vane IV, what a royal name. Russell Richardson Vane IV, 42 of Vienna, Virginia, had been, there's a lot of V's in that, had been in jail since his arrest in April. At a plea hearing Wednesday in federal court in Alexandria, Vane admitted that he used castor beans to create ricin at his home. Ricin is a toxin that occurs naturally in castor beans, and federal law requires anyone in possession of ricin to register and obtain a license. What the fuck do you need? What do you need ricin for?
I have no idea.
You got to register it like it's a fucking gun. Vane came to authorities' attention after an online news outlet reported that a militia group, the Virginia Kekwas, had severed ties with him because they were alarmed at what they considered his loose talk about homemade explosives. The Kekwas questioned whether he might be a government informant, according to the court papers. Authorities searched Vane's home and found a plastic bag with castor beans, along with a handwritten recipe for extracting ricin, according to an FBI affidavit. Subsequent tests confirmed the presence of ricin. At earlier court hearings, Vane's lawyers argued that prosecutors overstated the danger of Vane's conduct and said it was virtually impossible for ricin produced in the home to be used as a lethal weapon. Ricin's used as a lethal weapon always.
Mm-hmm.
They also,
why do you need it? Why do you need it?
Unless there's a fucking useful purpose of it. They also said that Vane had never threatened anyone. Prosecutors, though, said Vane's actions were alarming. They said that there is no legitimate reason for an ordinary person to produce ricin. And they also expressed concern about Vane's efforts to fake his own death. Prosecutors introduced evidence that Vane tried to illegally change his name to Fairfax in Fairfax County Court, and that he posted a fake online obituary of himself. At Wednesday's plea hearing, U.S. District Judge Anthony Trenga agreed that Vane could be released until a sentencing hearing set for November. He faces up to 5 years in prison, but will likely receive far less time. His plea deal does not include any recommended sentence. A call and email to Vane's attorney seeking comment were not immediately returned. Of course they weren't. I mean, to be fair, Yates, he probably won't do anywhere close to that amount of time because Yates, sus, he technically hasn't done anything. He just had it. You know?
He just had it, and I'm willing to bet too, because like looking up ricin earlier, it was saying it can be like an airborne thing as well. And the militia group talking about homemade explosives, he probably
make a biological weapon.
Yeah.
With ricin. That's concerning. You know, it's bad when a local militia group is like, that guy might be a problem.
Yeah.
I don't think we should keep him.
Go away.
You talking to your dog?
No, I was talking as if I'm the militia group talking to that guy.
Your dog's head's peeking around your chair.
He's just chilling.
I see his eyes looking at you.
He's all curled up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like that said, there's no real reason why a person should have ricin.
No.
Like there's no good reason. There's no non-nefarious reason that a person would have ricin.
If I went over to someone's house and they went, you see something cool? I got ricin. I'd be like, I'm never speaking to you ever again. Like, you have no reason to have that, and I don't want to know why you have that.
It's like, cool. I will never come to a cookout at your house. That's cool.
Yeah.
Because you can't smell or taste it, and then you're dead. Surprise. Yep.
Yeah, I'm good, brother.
If I'm not mistaken, too, ricin doesn't even show up in like a toxicology.
Really?
Fact check me on this.
I am.
You know, you fact check me because I don't know what my FBI agent will say about me Googling that. Does ricin come up in a toxicology? Does ricin?
I don't. Now you say that.
Does ricin show up in an autopsy? While there isn't an easy post-mortem test for ricin, there is always ways to detect it. Okay. Ricin can destroy body specific in ways that indicative of exposure, but these aren't definitive. Law enforcement may need other evidence to contextualize the death as ricin poisoning. Interesting.
The FBI is going to come to my door and be like, hey, recent internet searches.
We're on record saying this, and if they want to question it, then they can refer back to this. We were looking at it in the context of the article, and I was just fact-checking myself based off of things that I remember hearing in, like, spy documentaries and murder shows, where it's like, is that true? Am I wrong in that? That's all I'm looking at it. I don't ever intend of actually using ricin for anything, because
Same. Everything he said, same.
I mean, let's put it this way: like ricin poisoning is a woman's way of killing someone.
That's scary.
But that's how women's method of murder are often like poison.
That's terrifying.
I know, fucking women.
It's like the one I think we talked about a long time ago, with the one that would put bleach in her husband's coffee every morning.
Yes,
for a long time.
He was an Air Force guy, and his wife was like, he thought his wife was trying to kill him, and then he put up he had some suspicious thoughts about his wife, and then he put a camera up in the kitchen and saw that she was bleaching his coffee every day. That's fucking crazy, isn't it?
Dude, honestly though, how do you not like? What the fuck is that? Like, you know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing, right? So the water that they use, they treat water with chlorine and shit. So my sink water often smells like bleach. It smells like a pool hall sometimes, because the water treatment plant uses chlorine to treat the water. So my water smells like bleach and chlorine all the fucking time. I hate it. That's why I don't drink out of the tap. I drink out of a fucking water filter.
I drink out of water bottles. I don't like drinking from the tap. Not after being on Lejeune.
Your experience of that is a little bit different. So yeah, we had mosquitoes in our sink. It was great. Next topic, we're going to talk about Sergeant Major fucking people. So, Army fires Command Sergeant Major who allegedly slept with more than one of her subordinates. That's all. I don't know why. She ain't that good looking either.
I'm sorry, but that's kind of awesome though. That's like the military version of being in high school, and it's like your hot English teacher.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Sergeant Major here is not hot.
No, but it's still like, you know, in high school.
You know, it is interesting though, and listen, those women are fucking criminals. They're pedophiles.
Yes,
100%. But on the other hand, I will say this: as a teenage boy, where the fuck were those teachers when I was in high school? All of my teachers, none of them looked like that. None of them were like that. None of them looked like that.
We had one after I graduated. She became the PE teacher at my old high school, and she got caught sleeping with multiple students.
Did she look like 1980s fucking Macho Man Randy Savage, or was she hot?
She was middle of the road. It's like one of those where you're like, you know, all right. It's one like you. It's like one of those chicks that you show your boys, and they're like, oh, okay, good for you. All right, yeah, nothing to like scream to the heavens about, but you're not mad about it.
She touched my pee-pee.
She touched my pee-pee. Yeah, she slept with multiple students. Yeah. I think she got away with it too. Like,
oh no,
I don't think she spent any jail time.
Oh no.
I think she just did. I think she just had parole for a few years.
Probation, you mean?
Probation, that one, yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's kind of how it goes because I hate that. I honestly do because I hate the whole notion that because it's a hot chick doing it, it's somehow okay. Because it's not. It's still wrong.
No, it's not. It's still taking advantage of someone that legally cannot give you consent legally, and B is not of what is it? Really sound mind to consent to someone that much older than them.
They're children.
It's grooming. It's grooming.
Yeah.
It's fucked up. It's wrong.
And you're using your position as a teacher to take advantage of that. So it is wrong. It is no different than like someone's daughter getting something happening to her with her teacher.
Yeah,
it's
no,
the same
there's no difference at all.
I'm just speaking as a once teenage boy of saying that like where the fuck were those chicks? But it's still wrong. It's still wrong.
Yeah, it's one of those things too. Like those guys, whenever they, I mean, now they probably look back on it and they're like, huh, I got taken advantage of by a much older woman. That's crazy.
It's funny.
You know what I mean?
I remember seeing a podcast where they had Chris Hansen on, and it was funny enough because it was a comedy podcast that had him on. And they asked him, like, how many women have you caught in these? And he said none.
Really?
It's only ever been men. And he even said, but the reason why isn't because women are, when it comes to women predators, they do things differently than male predators. Mm-hmm. They are more close to the chest about who they prey on. Like they know their victim versus like these male predators. They don't seek it out online. Unlike the males, the male ones will. But females don't. Females are often like they keep it very tight to the chest, and very with a personal. Someone they have a personal relationship with. Mm-hmm. Versus most male predators, even though they will do that too, but the ones that like seek it out online are predominantly male. Women apparently don't do it that way. It's just the way that men and women are different when it comes to that kind of shit.
That reminded me too that
murder, honestly.
Yeah. But that gym teacher I was talking about, I just remembered, I think a couple of them were 18, and then the other ones I think were like 17. Still wrong, but I think that's why she didn't really get like. I think that's why she didn't go to jail.
Because a couple of them were legally consenting adults.
Yeah, but she definitely. I mean, she got in a lot of trouble, obviously, because she's a teacher and they're students, which is a big no-no.
Yes, absolutely. Speaking of big no-nos, it's when your sergeant major does the same shit. So, female sergeant major fired. Command Sergeant Major Veronica Knapp. A senior military leader in D.C. was recently removed from her role following an internal investigation into controversial conduct, including allegations of adultery and sleeping with lower-ranking troops. Fraternization. Army Command Sergeant Major Veronica Knapp was relieved of her duties on August 8th due to loss of trust and confidence in her leadership. It's always that line. According to a spokesman for the Joint Task Force National Capital Region. Knapp also served as a senior enlisted leader of the Army's Military District of Washington. The decision to remove Knapp came after a 15-6 investigation, which is a standard inquiry often used to address issues as a command climate, leadership failures, or misconduct. While the investigation findings have not been disclosed, alleged behavior of her part in relation to fraternization may have played a role. Knapp gained public attention in 2021 when she became the first woman to serve senior enlisted leader of the 101st Airborne Division. She held this position until mid-2023 when she transitioned to her role to the Joint Task Force. According to the Terminal CWO, Knapp was allegedly an ineffectual and selfish leader. Shocker. Who had sexual relationships with other soldiers on Fort Campbell, including her personal driver, and was likely moved to D.C. after being discovered performing oral sex on a staff sergeant in the division parking lot.
Couldn't even take it to a closed door.
No, she had to blow him in the parking lot before PT. The whistleblower page had collected a significant number of testimonies from a current and former members of the 101st Airborne Division. That's her, by the way, on the far left. Nothing to write home about. The page went on to state that Knapp allegedly had sexual relationships with other soldiers during European deployments at the MCAB, Romania, and in Poland. Damn. I've been to MCAB, and I've been to Poland. I've been to MCAB at both Romania and Poland. Poland was only for one day, though. At her change of responsibility ceremony last year, Major General J.P. McGee, then commanding officer of the 101st, praised Knapp's leadership, highlighting her efforts to improve unit cohesion and the positive impact she had on the lives of soldiers under her command.
Damn right she did.
Goddamn right she did. I got to keep this morale up. I'll fucking drink your cum. I guess that is honestly, that's one way to do it, I guess. I mean, you know, we got to keep the morale up. How can we do it? Like, well, all these guys are all pent up while we're all downrange. So
what if I just blow them?
Maybe, you know, just fucking BJ's for all you boys for doing the Lord's work.
She's like, we can't. I can't give out any awards or anything like that.
How do we improve the command climate survey? Just give them all blowjobs. Knapp began her military career in 2000 and was deployed to several locations, including Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, Romania, and Afghanistan. The Command Sergeant Major has earned her numerous awards, including 2 Legions of Merit, 9 Army Achievement Medals, and, AAMs, you can fucking get those for just sweeping the motor pool, right? And several other accommodations. Knapp's biography has been removed from the task force website following her dismissal. Since her removal, Sergeant Major Eberhard Nordman, the task force provost marshal, has been named Knapp's interim replacement. The Army Times reports that the unceremonious firing came shortly after another enlisted leader, Sergeant Major Matthew Carlson, was also removed from his position. See, another one. Carlson's dismissal was related to alcohol-related incidents while he was serving with the Italy-based 173rd Airborne Brigade. DUI. I promise you it was a DUI. We had a
I'm gonna be honest.
Did I tell you about our old garrison commander getting fucking fired for a DUI?
I think you did, yeah.
He got pulled over by the MPs and they were going to let him go. And then he tried fighting them.
Idiot.
And it was just like, okay, now we have to arrest you. But that also highlights what I've said before, is that like certain leadership will get, you know, more permission, not permissions, but we'll get more leeway with things. If it was me getting pulled over of a DUI, they'd throw me in the fucking lockup and leave me there until Monday morning.
Yeah, but real quick, without question.
You got the full bird colonel pulled over. No, it was the garrison commander, so that's a general. You get the fucking
rank will get you a lot.
The rank will get you a lot. Even though it says in the creed to the non-commissioned officer, I will not use my rank or position to obtain Profit, pleasure, or personal safety.
And she got herself some pleasure.
She got all of it. She got it all.
Honestly, though, I don't blame her.
I mean, she's a female in an infantry unit where dudes are all pent up, you know? And she's like...
She probably had a good time.
A target-rich environment, will you call it?
Good for her, honestly. Good for her.
Honestly, bad for her, because it sounded like she was actually a really shitty leader, and everybody hated her, and she was probably just like, I won't give you an Article 15 if you let me blow you. And it's just like, please don't make me do this. My wife is hotter than you.
I'm sure it wasn't that forceful. It's probably more of like a, so I think you're pretty hot. You want me to blow you? And they're like, sure. We're in a whole other country right now. I don't give a fuck.
I mean, we're in Romania.
Let's go to the parking lot.
It's like, who's going to fucking know? Apparently someone found him doing it, so.
It had to be the one in the parking lot. Someone probably had to just be walking by and been like, what the fuck?
That's usually how it goes, dude. It's like someone just stumbles upon horrible, and they're like, what the fuck is happening? And it's just like, Sergeant Major, what are you doing? You know, go to parade rest and some shit like that. It's like, do I have to go to parade rest when I get a blowy from you, or what? I don't know what I have to do.
Imagine that's what it was. That staff starts in the driver's seat, and he's just like this in the seat, and
he's just like
her head bobbing up and down,
just like fucking pants down. Eddies. Yeah. Those people were taking advantage of and were laughing. Anyway, Taliban. Now the Taliban morality police, because you know nothing screams morality like Taliban. Oh, man, 2021 will always rest in my heart as the fucking worst thing to ever happen. Taliban morality police dismiss over 280 men without beards from security forces. Imagine this, right? So imagine you are so committed to jihad, right? You eat, shit, and breathe the Taliban life. It's something that your father did, your uncle did, you family members have died fighting alongside the Taliban, and it's been your lifelong goal to also climb the ranks of the Taliban, to be a fucking suicide bomber. And because you don't have a beard, you can't be Taliban, bitch. And you're just like, but jihad, jihad, Muhammad jihad. And they're just like, no, durka, no beard, no hurka. And then they just, no Muhammad jihad for you, no beard.
It's the complete opposite of
the army,
the U.S. military.
Yeah. Where it's like,
they're very like, we'll do anything to anyone. Don't give a fuck. We'll kill anyone. Who gives a shit? U.S. military, they're like, we're going to do our best to limit civilian casualties. Also, we're shaving. And the Taliban's like, you can't grow a beard? Fuck you.
and then the U.S. military is like, if you can grow a beard, fuck you. You have to go through hoops just to fucking be allowed to have your beard. Like, you have to have a shaving profile. Basically, like, shaving, like, will eat your skin, or your God says that you can't shave. And those are the only reasons why. And then even still, it's up to the commander to make that decision anyway. Commander's discretion, the thing we talked about last time, where it's like, you know, hey, the rule says this, but your boss can say nah to all of it, which 99% of the time, boss will always say nah.
Mm-hmm. Which is so dumb. Just lay out the rules, and those are the rules. Get rid of the commander's discretion type shit.
I agree. Anyway, back to the Taliban. So, Kabul, August 20th. The Taliban's morality ministry dismissed more than 280 members of the security force to failure to grow a beard and detained more than 13,000 people in Afghanistan for immoral acts in the past year. Oh man, we left Afghanistan in such a great state. The Ministry of the Prevention of Vice and Propagation of Virtue said that in its annual operations update that around half of those detained had been let go after 24 hours. It did not break down the type of the alleged offenses or gender of the detainees. I can tell you now what they are. Mahabadullah Makis, director of planning and legislation at the ministry, told press conference officials he had destroyed 21,328 musical instruments in the past year and prevented thousands of computer operators from selling immoral and unethical films on the markets. So porn. Even though they'll fuck boys, but porn's bad. It had identified 281 security force members for not having a beard, and they had been dismissed, he said, in line with their interpretation of Islamic law. The Morality Ministry, which took over the disbanded women's ministry premises in Kabul after the Taliban took over in 2021, has been criticized by human rights organizations and the United Nations for restrictions on women and inhibiting freedom of expression. The United Nations mission to Afghanistan has reported cases of Morality Ministry officials stopping and detaining women at times for a few hours for not meeting the interpretation of Islamic dress. The Taliban has called the allegations of detentions baseless because, we didn't see you fuckheads doing it for 20 years, and say the rules apply to their interpretation of Islamic law and Afghan customs. The Morality Ministry did not provide figures in relation to the policing of women's attire or their travel without a male guardian, which authorities have also barred for longer distances. It said that new plan was being worked on to ensure Islamic dress rules were followed, overseen by the supreme spiritual leader who has been based in the southern city of Kandahar. Based on the guidance Supreme Leader. Why is everyone so fucking stupid? Based on the guidance of Supreme Leader, the draft plan for observing women's hijab has been formulated and approved. The Morality Ministry has previously said that women should cover their faces and wear all-enveloping burqa. That enforcement would involve encouragement with women's male family members of being targeted rather than women directly. Most Afghan women covered their hair in public in the conservative country even before the Taliban takeover, but some, especially Kabul, did not usually cover their faces or wear a burqa. Mohammed Bakalus said that he had prevented just over 200 cases of the sale of women and over 2,600 cases of violence against women. I don't believe you. The story has been refiled in correct grammar in paragraph 1. Let me tell you something. The Taliban are not moral people. They're not.
No.
They're not. And for them to go ahead and say that, like, hey, listen, we prevented over 200 cases of the sale of women and 2,600 cases of violence against women. Bullshit. Bullshit you did. I fucking promise you didn't. Mm-hmm. You're just saying that.
You're overseeing that shit.
You're basically North Korea in the sand. Fucking idiots. Like, that's all they are.
North Korea in the sand. That's funny.
Like, that's the fucking Taliban.
I don't like them.
No one likes the fucking Taliban. And it's funny because I remember reading an article that the fucking Taliban are having like a mental health crisis because the war is over. So all these Taliban fighters are working like IT jobs and vaping and hating their fucking life because they're not in combat. And I'm like, wow, they're just like us. They're just like sitting at their computers vaping like, I miss the war. It's like, me too, bro. Me too.
Never, ever thought about it that way. I never thought about it that way, that there are Taliban dudes working 9 to 5s in Afghanistan right now. And they're like, I miss the war. And you know what's fucking crazy too? Our guys come home, don't have to look at the grounds anymore. They get off work and they're passing a field or a mountain in the distance. And they're like, I remember like fucking 4 years ago, I shot a dude in those mountains. It was crazy. Got in a crazy firefight. And they're just looking at it. It's just there. And they've got all the fucking shit from way back in the day. God, that is crazy.
Yeah, they're looking.
You just opened up a whole new line of thought for me that I never even thought about.
Because you're sitting there like the fucking, you got fucking Jason Muhammad over here driving by the Korengal Valley like, dude, you remember that one time those Apaches came after us? Fuck, that was so much more simple back then. Now I gotta go and fucking sell a rug. This sucks. It's just
smoking cigarettes and just fucking
thinking about the war. I legit wonder how many of these dudes just want us to come back. Just so they don't have to do this shit anymore. So they're like, I would rather just fight than fucking. Did you unplug it and plug it back in? Like, fucking helping the the tech support line for and now I guarantee you a lot of these guys are just like, I went from fucking dropping mortars on U.S. fobs to now I'm making sure that people aren't selling porn on the internet. This sucks. You know, like this is dumb,
dude. That is just crazy. Like there is a line of Taliban, like, what is it? I don't even know how to say it from their perspective. Their war with the U.S. veterans that just are fucking pissed off.
Yeah, right.
That's all they are now.
And it's funny because it's like you have a guy that used to be like a Taliban, like not even a Taliban commander, but used to be probably like high up in the fucking chain of command when it came to like war fighting, and now he's working tech support. And then you also have on the flip side, you got a platoon sergeant that used to fucking drop bodies back in the day, and now he's also working tech support, or like having to go to a 9 to 5 and deal with people's bullshit in the office. And the parallels are both of them trying to kill each other. And they fucking were like, man, I used to stack them back in the day, and now I'm a fucking nothing. I have to fucking go to work and listen to people's bitching that have never been in it.
Does Vet TV have a skit series on that already?
I don't know. I really kind of want to pitch that to them and be like the parallels between the Taliban of today and the U.S. veteran, the GWAT vets of today.
It's
and just like,
they're
and you know what? To be fair, the Taliban probably they probably like struggle with it more than we do. And and the reason why I say that is because they have to see those places still, like you said, where like they live there and they see like, man, I remember that collage over there when I had that dishka up and shit. Now like there's a fucking nerd living in it.
Well, you got to think too. They're looking at hollowed out shells of our old fobs and bases are still there.
It's just like everything reminds me of her type kind of thing.
By the way, so everyone knows, there's no sympathy towards them at all.
No, I hope they all die a horrible fucking death. It's just funny.
Fucking funny to think about. I would love to pitch that with you. We need to find someone at Vet TV and be like, hey, we have an idea.
If they haven't thought about it yet, I really do want to, because we do have people in Regiment that do like talk with Vet TV guys about skits, and I can reach out to them like, I have an idea for a skit for Vet TV, and it's like the parallels of fucking Taliban working 9 to 5s and GWAT vets working 9 to 5s, and all they can think about is the times they used to try to kill each other and how they miss it. And like,
dude, and it like the whole like, so you know how World War II vets, you have American and German guys. From their stories, they like find out that they cross paths and they meet each other.
Yeah.
Do that at the end of the show, and it's like by the end of it, it's the Taliban dude and the fucking like a Marine or soldier or whatever. They meet each other at the end of it, and they're like, oh, and just like drinking buddies or whatever at that point for a minute.
But at the same time, while they're drinking buddies and gleeful, they're also talking mad shit to each other about how they wish the other one would die. And like, it's like, man, you know, I really hope that you die a fiery, horrible fucking death. And then he's laughing. He's just like, you infidel. I hope the fucking pigs eat your corpse. And then they just hug it. And they hug.
No, they don't hug it. They fucking kill each other and die next to each other.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. And it's just like,
it all comes full circle with just the darkest ending.
And it's like, because it's like they're constantly thinking back at it, and they're just like, you know, it's like romanticized and stuff. And then like you got the Taliban guy, he's like looking at the fucking fob, and he's just like kind of like, man, everything reminds me of him. And then like the GWAT guy, the US dude, is like, you know, kind of like looking at trash bags on the side of the road, and he's just like, everything reminds me of them. And they're just like,
everything reminds me of them.
They're just like,
they look up the end of every episode. They both look up at the moon. Like, I wonder if he's looking at the same moon.
It's kind of shit like that.
Oh fuck!
I think
dude, that'd be crazy. That'd be a crazy series.
That would be funny. It would be funny because it's like, yeah, it's true. As much as we fucking hate them, there are parallels between the fucking post-war life that they have and we have. Granted, it's a lot more fucked up over there than it is over here for us. But I mean, you know, but on the other hand, they don't get VA benefits. You know, it's like, what do they get for it? Nothing.
Well, I'm willing to bet though too. I'm sure a lot of them are still like active members of the Taliban. They're doing this police force bullshit.
Yeah.
And they're just going around and fucking
did you ever see the video
beating women and
of
children.
the Taliban on roller skates?
Yes, I did. They're running around with their AKs on them and like trying to fucking like police everybody.
They're like riding around on roller skates and holding on to the back of cars like it's fucking Back to the Future, and then just like skating through the streets and shit with their AKs. And they had fucking Fleetwood Mac playing. It was like someone dubbed Fleetwood Mac music over it. It was like, now here you go, it's all the same. You should play the way you feel. You know, that kind of shit.
It's so fucked up that it's funny.
I know. I wonder if they have the same sense of humor as we do. Probably not.
I don't know. I have no idea. There's plenty of videos now of like the extreme travelers on YouTube that have visited Afghanistan after the pullout.
Yeah.
And they have to like talk with the Taliban to get visas to go in and get Taliban protection while they're there.
I don't get. There are people that will do that. I don't understand it. Like, why are you? Why do you willingly go to Afghanistan? Who just says like, babe, you know what'd be a really cool trip? A hike through Afghanistan. I've always wanted to hike the Korangal Valley. Should we go hike the Korangal Valley right into Pakistan and Chechnya? I wish we could do that. We won't get our heads chopped off or nothing, but hey.
There's a guy that did that, who went in and he like got the visas and everything, was captured by the Taliban while he was there, right?
No way.
But became like best friends with the Taliban.
Was this Bo
and
Bergdahl?
they invite him back.
Was this Bo Bergdahl?
Wait, was that the soldier?
The one that was captured by the Taliban, and then it was just like his dad was friends with them and shit, and then we traded like 10 Taliban commanders for him.
No. This is like a civilian. I think he's from like England, and he like was one of those extreme like travelers on YouTube, and became friends with the Taliban. Gets invited back often, and I think the video I saw at the end of it, he was talking about it and everything, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm actually in talks with the Taliban to set up mines to mine the natural like valuable minerals and all that stuff, and like
so this dude is admitting to being he's admitting to be a terrorist now.
Pretty much, yeah.
You know, I'm actually in talks with them going back to Afghanistan and just laying mines in places where people will die.
No, not kill mines. Like mining ore.
Mine. Oh, like for China
and like
shit.
Yeah, and like getting all of the natural resources, because he was like, man, Afghanistan would be such a better place if we could just help them make that happen and everything like that. Which, you know, I'm not gonna lie. They'd probably be like, wait a minute,
here's the thing.
We can actually have money and technology and all this cool shit. They'd probably get more westernized.
No, do you know who is using those mines? China. As soon as
Afghanistan?
Yes. As soon as we left, China went right in and started.
I had no idea.
And they started buying all of our shit from the Taliban. The shit we left behind.
Really?
Yeah, China came in, and they also, because there's rich lithium deposits in Afghanistan. They are now,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, China is working up contracts with the Taliban to mine lithium.
And they're going to give them a shitload of money.
Yeah. And China is going to get a shitload of lithium and have a hold over the fucking tech market because of it. So what he's doing is not a good thing.
I didn't know it was China doing it.
Yeah, it's China doing it.
See, in my thought process, I feel like I need to backtrack here a little bit. Okay.
You were thinking like it would help Afghanistan's economy or something, right?
Like help their economy, but also in the process, slowly like westernize them a little bit and get them away from these crazy fucked up ideals. And they're like, wait a minute, technology and shit's actually pretty badass. Like, what are we doing here? Why are we living like fucking cavemen? You know what I mean?
Well, also
that was my thought process.
Yeah, it's not at all of why they're doing that. They're not doing it to westernize. They're doing it to fucking make money, because you know what they're actually doing? They're training. Al Qaeda and Taliban are now one and the same in ways. Al Qaeda, Hamas, and all the other terror organizations, Afghanistan is now the new training ground for all of them.
I believe that. I mean, controlled by a terrorist organization.
So
that makes
they're
sense.
looking at the mines of a way of income to fund their organizations, not to help improve Afghanistan. So this dude wants to go and help build mines for them, so that they're to help fund their terror organization. That's what the mines are for.
That makes more sense than like my dreamland, but
yeah,
it'd still be cool if they would just like stop murdering people.
Yeah, well, that's the optimist in you, and we all like to think the good in people, but when it comes to the Taliban, there ain't much good there. So
you're right.
Anyway, so we finished talking about? No, this is the vet that wanted to fake his death.
I gotta take pee real quick.
You go pee.
I will. I'm sorry.
Baby.
Don't be upset with me.
We got a baby bladder in the house.
Regiment in this podcast is also partnered with BR Paradox. BR Paradox is a company that specializes in custom-built PCs. So if you have an idea for a cool custom-built PC, they can definitely give you the hookup on that. But if you're not in the market for custom PCs, BR Paradox has a wide array of pre-built PCs that you could choose from at great prices. And if you're not in the market right now for a new PC, BR Paradox will definitely hook you up with an optimization. Optimizations take around 10-15 minutes to do, and they're very awesome. I highly recommend them. I had my PC optimized by them, and it's never run smoother since. BR Paradox also has a list of renowned customers ranging from LeBron James, Chris Brown, members of FaZe Clan, and even Angela White from your favorite orange and black site, if you know what I mean. So head on over to brparadox.com to get yourself a PC today or an optimization. And remember to use promo code REGIMENT at checkout. That's promo code REGIMENT down here at checkout.
All right. Faking your death. Something we've all thought about doing. Faking our death and disappearing. Another person faking his death. So our army vet faked his death. This one actually faked his death to avoid paying bills. And he's so sad. Look at his mugshot. He's just like,
damn it, they got me.
The thing is, he's probably like, you can't fake your death and then still get your VA benefits. I'm willing to bet he was still trying to figure out a way to get his fucking disability and VA benefits while pretending to be dead because he was broke. So a Kentucky resident who faked his death to avoid paying child support has been sentenced to 6 years and 9 months in federal prison. See, felony, babe. Jesse Kipp, 39, of Somerset, avoided more than $116,000 in child support before he was caught, according to the court record. Kipp accessed the death registry system in Hawaii in 2023 with the username and password of a doctor in another state and completed a death certificate for himself, then used the doctor's name, title, and license number on it according to the plea agreement. You idiot. You used an actual person's credentials to fake your own death. As a result, he was listed as deceased in many government databases. Kipp's attorney, Thomas Maselli, said that in a sentencing memorandum of Kipp served in the military for about 3 years and was deployed to Iraq in 07 and 08. The psychological trauma Kipp experienced in war increased his drug addiction that led to an increase of reckless and criminal behavior, Maselli said. Kipp has also been diagnosed with paranoid delusions and schizophrenic tendencies, Maselli said, in advocating for a lower sentence on Kipp. However, the prosecutor, Assistant U.S. Attorney Catherine Dariff, said in a sentencing memo that Kipp's online exploits displayed an unusual breadth, recklessness, and disregard for victims. Kipp identified vulnerabilities in the state death registry systems and used identifying information he stole from real doctors to create fake death certificates for himself. He posted information for sale on the darknet forums on how other people could illegally access death registry systems, according to the memo. In addition, Kipp hacked into the private business computer networks and admitted to selling one company's database to Russians, according to the prosecution memo. This is a lot to not pay child support, buddy. Dariff acknowledged Kipp was a decorated veteran, but said that the U.S. Army charged him for theft and damage to government property, and noted he had been charged in Texas with fraudulent use of identifying information, and in Nebraska with criminal possession of financial transaction devices. Kipp has charges pending against him in Somerset for allegedly stealing credit card numbers to pay for food deliveries through services such as DoorDash, according to the prosecution memo. The charges point to Kipp's decision to avoid ever obtaining legitimate employment and instead to apply his ample technical knowledge towards making a living by stealing from others. When he was arrested, Kipp told police he hadn't had a legitimate job for 5 years and was selling identities to support himself. He pled guilty to computer fraud and aggravated identity theft. Yeah, dude. So, this is the one thing I hate, right? When people try to leverage military trauma for their bad decisions.
Yeah.
His trauma he experienced during the war is what led him to do this. Like, no, his bad decisions were starting while he was in the fucking army and was charged while in the army. This motherfucker's been doing this for a while. He was just looking for a way to make a good buck. Let's be honest.
He doesn't look sad like that he did it. He looks sad that he got caught.
Right. This isn't the look of regret that he did this. It's the look of fuck, I got caught.
Mm-hmm. Which is, I mean, a very white collar crime. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not out here killing people or anything, but he's just being dumb. Really, that's all it is. Like, that's all he's doing is just being stupid, and he got caught for being stupid.
Just being a dumb
trying
boy.
to not work, and that's it.
Just being a knucklehead. That's all he was.
I will say though, the most fucked up part about this is to avoid paying child support is crazy.
Yeah.
Just pay for your fucking kids. If you've got children, don't duck out on child support. You can hate their mom all you want. Fucking put food on the table for your children, or pull out. Fuck.
Don't be a dummy.
Kids.
Listen, don't be a dummy. Come on her tummy.
Exactly.
So in the gaming world, Twitch, what are you doing? So Twitch's TikTok-like discovery feed is rolling out to all users. Now, this is in April, but we found it yesterday. Like, we stumbled upon it. Twitch is officially rolling out its new TikTok-like discovery feed to all users this week. The company announced on Tuesday. The new feed, which is launching as a tab within the Twitch iOS and Android apps, allows... It's not a fucking tab. Is it? Is the old feature still there?
I don't know. Let me look at it.
So
because when I opened it, it was just the
same
TikTok style.
Same. So it allows viewers to scroll through bite-sized bits of content to discover new streamers. The official launch follows Twitch's earlier tests of the feed that started in August 2023. Wow, this started back like a year ago. With this launch, Twitch now joins numerous of other popular apps that have launched their own short-form video feeds following TikTok's rise in popularity, including Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, Uber Eats, and LinkedIn. Uber Eats? Why?
What?
Uber Eats has a TikTok-like fucking short-form video thing?
No. I think it's just the layout of, like, finding restaurants and shit to eat from.
Maybe. So there are two tabs in the feed, a live feed and a clips feed. The live feed displays live streams from both streamers users already follow and streamers that Twitch thinks they would like. The clips feed showcases top moments from their streamers across Twitch, allowing viewers to discover content from streamers even when they're not live. While people typically go to Twitch when they have enough time to watch a live stream, the new clips feed is designed for moments when the users only have a few minutes to spare. Now, I would say this. There was an app that came out back in 2020 called Hover.
I used the fuck out of that app.
And it died so fast.
Yep.
I knew it would,
Yeah,
too. So when Regiment actually tried fucking... I heard of Hover because of Regiment. We were trying to partner up with them. And it got popular because it was like, cool. This is actually pretty cool. It's like a TikTok for gaming clips.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is all the other platforms did it much better than they did. Mm-hmm. And there was also a lot of, like, the idea of was for it encouraged follow for follow, support for support. Yeah. That was the biggest thing with it, is that it encouraged the wrong thing, right? Yep. And it was all about, well, it's supposed to be about networking and watching other people do cool things. Like, no, it turned into fucking support for support. And I even auditioned for Hover's Next Top Streamer or whatever. Mm-hmm. And they didn't give it to me, and their reason for not giving it to me was it was so dumb. It was, I don't know, I couldn't remember what it was, but anyway. So Hover had a lot of fucking buggy issues, right? And their Discord. Mm-hmm. I was in their Discord, and the fucking creators of the app just disappeared. One day they stopped doing live streams, and they just completely dropped off the face of the earth. And like these partnered creators were like left hanging. They weren't getting paid anymore. They don't know what the hell happened. The moderators within the channel were within the Discord were just like, we don't know where they are. They haven't been seen. And like the bug reports, like all these things where the app was just slowly starting to not work anymore because they weren't keeping up with like operating system updates. So every OS update that phones would get and shit, the app was not keeping up with it. So there was more and more bugs as it went. And people were in the Discord making bug reports, and the developers and the owners just disappeared. It was almost like they took the money they could and ran.
Probably.
And it was like, well, that's kind of odd. And I remember watching this whole thing unfold, and I was just like, ooh, this is nasty. Look at that. And yeah, Hover, it was a good concept, bad execution. And the thing is, they never kept up with it, and they just let it just die off.
Well, the thing with it too is like you said, good concept, but TikTok was already so big, and the gaming scene on TikTok really started growing around that time too. So like there was no need to really replace it when you know, TikTok was doing the same, like people are doing the same thing over on TikTok and having much more success, you know? And to your point about the support, like I think most comments I got on any of my clips was people being like, oh, I followed you, you should come follow me. I'm like, that's not why I'm not making content to do follow for follow. Like that's not, I'm here to entertain. That's it. I'm not going to follow you just because you asked me to, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Make something that I like. I'll follow you. That's how it works. That's just how it works. I sound like I'm being a dick. I'm not trying to be. That's just how making content works.
It is how it works, because the support for support and follow for follow thing is just such a fucking empty way of trying to fucking network. You know, it's just so empty. There's like there's no good intention behind it, because the truth is they don't care about your content. They care about their own, and they want you to like show support for it. They don't care about supporting you. They want you to support them, and then they'll never fucking talk to you again. Yep. That's how that's how it actually ends up being.
You're I think that's another thing a lot of people misconstrue when it comes to popularity or making income on social media. A lot of people look at your follow number. Your follow number does not pay you.
No.
That's not what pays you anywhere on any platform. It's your views. So you have to consistently make good content, you know, like that's like, fuck, over on TikTok for me, I've got over 190,000 followers over there. My views are dog shit right now because I've completely completely changed my content. So I'm going from TikTok military funny guy to paranormal ghosty shit with some, you know, ghost movie skits sprinkled in. Like it's a complete 180 change, and my follow number, it's not going to help my videos get views. The same on YouTube.
Yep.
You know what I mean? If people don't really identify or 100% like what you're putting out, they're not going to watch it.
Nope.
You know? And that's just how it works. And that's where too, for anyone trying to get into social media, your biggest help isn't going to necessarily be like the jokes that you tell or anything like that. Your biggest help is going to be being a personality that people just like. So that way you can do whatever the hell. Yeah, or relate to. So then you can do whatever the fuck you want, and people will be like, I'll watch it because I like the person. I like this person, not just a character that they portray, which is where I'm at right now. People love Schmuckatelli. People love the character I portrayed. People didn't really know me. People don't really know me.
No, they don't.
You know, because I played the character for too long.
Very well now.
Well, yeah, you know me very well, but you know, like, and that's also the difference between posting videos and streaming. I know I'm going on a tangent on a totally other fucking level, but
yeah,
like videos, you play a character, that's all people see. Streaming, people get to know you for you. So like everybody that watches my Twitch streams are like, watch whatever the fuck you put up on TikTok because I know you. I like you. Anyway, my whole point of this, if you want to do social media, don't do fucking follow for follow, and be a personality, not just a character. All right, there you go.
There you go. So,
sorry about that.
No, you're good. So to better personalize what you see in the feed, you can click the thumbs up thumbs up or thumbs down button on a live stream or clip signal what type of content you want to see more or less of. The news feed arrival comes from Twitch streamers have long called on the company to introduce new features to help them reach new audiences. Since Twitch isn't a fully algorithmic platform like TikTok, Twitch streamers haven't had many ways to attract new viewers outside of promoting themselves on other platforms or teaming up with fellow streamers, which is, I hate doing all of that. I really do.
Teaming up.
It's not so much the teaming up. It's just like, I don't know. Collabing is just not as great as it used to be, in my opinion. Like I find myself wanting to collab with less and less people. And back then when I used to, I wanted to collab with everybody, mostly because I liked playing with them, but they would never play with me. So I'm like, man, the collaborating is just stupid because like no one wants to play with me. I didn't even want to fucking, and it's funny because of the collabs that I would do. It's just like, I just want to play games. I don't want to like stream it. I just want to play and like get to know you.
Them.
Me. Me. Some people wouldn't collab with me because there was no gain for them. I'm like, I just want to play with you, you fucking asshole. But anyway.
Yeah.
I hit the wrong button. This new Discovery feed, small and medium streamers have the potential to reach new audiences. Twitch says that all the live streams and clips are automatically eligible to appear in the feed if they meet the platform's content guidelines, which means don't show your pussy. While streamers can't directly upload content to the Discovery feed, Twitch encourages them to create a feature and feature clips of their content for a chance to be included on the feed. So you have no control of putting it on the feed. Twitch does it.
I'm not a huge fan of the layout because it is weird for Twitch. It's new. However, I love where they're going with this. I think it's phenomenal, and I think after people get like used to it, and it's been 3 months. This is our first time seeing it, so people have probably gotten used to it. But I like this. I like it. I think it's good. I think it provides new people to find a following when before you couldn't. You know?
Yeah. I don't know.
Mainly the clips. I think they could have left the live streams as a TikTok format
it is
alone
a tab.
And just
the
did
lives.
clips.
The clips would be one thing. The lives being what they are. I don't like them. I don't like that.
Yeah, I like the idea of clips though. That's good.
Yee. All right, layoffs. Ubisoft lays off 45, which is not a lot, but it's still layoffs. So Ubisoft has made another round of layoffs, this time cutting staff from 2 of its U.S. studios. A total of 45 employees have been let go across the Assassin's Creed publisher San Francisco studio and Red Storm Entertainment, which is based in Cary, North Carolina. It's unclear which departments have been affected. Yesterday, Ubisoft San Francisco and Red Storm Entertainment informed their teams of a restructuring. It's always a restructuring that resulted in 45 employees leaving Ubisoft. A Ubisoft spokesperson told IGN in a statement, "This difficult yet necessary decision was made to align the studio's organizations with their future business and development objectives." It's always this fucking response with this shit.
Same one. Copy and paste.
It's the same one for all of them. It's difficult but necessary to align our organization and the business values and development objectives, which translates in, we wanted to make more money, so we wanted to get rid of more people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always like, we will support those affected, including a severance and career assistance, which never happens. Never happens. Red Storm Entertainment already suffered a setback in May when Ubisoft canceled the mobile title Tom Clancy's Division Heartland. The announcement was made alongside the company's latest financial results, where it reported a record net bookings in 2023 as well as a rise in net sales. So they had better sales, so they chose to let go people, always. Ubisoft San Francisco, meanwhile, is the team behind the publisher's recently launched online shooter X Defiant. This is the third round of layoffs Ubisoft has made this year, following 33 job cuts in Toronto last month and 45 dismissed from its global publishing and Asia Pacific teams in April. Ubisoft have made cuts to its visual effects and IT teams in November 2023, and 60 were let go from its customer service department in May of 2023. The tech industry is collapsing, and it sucks because I just graduated and I'm trying to get a fucking tech job, and I can't. No one is hiring. And people that are hiring, they're not hiring people like me with no experience. We just got out of school. They don't want us. And my wife, she works for an insurance company, and 2 of their applicants were senior data administrators. Like, not data, they were data engineers. Senior level data engineers looking for a job in fucking insurance because they can't get a job in tech.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, they can't get a job. Where do I think I'm going to get a job? How am I going to get a fucking job in that industry? If dudes like that are struggling to find a job within tech, I have no chance. None. And it
sucks because not that long ago it was so like
it was booming.
Yeah, dude, come on, you'll get a job.
That's the problem. It became saturated with people looking for jobs in that industry, and I was once again Brock late to the fucking party. I'm always late to the fucking party. It sucks because it's like I spent a lot of time and a lot of effort to get to where I am, only to I will be struggling to fucking get my footing in one of these. Everyone's like, well, customer support is always an option. I'm like, I would rather put a bullet in my brain. I don't want to fucking just be there and listen to stupid fucking people who don't know how to use their computer and be like, did you think about have you tried turning it off and turning it back on again? Blah, 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 blah. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And I know it's probably like, you're being picky. Like, am I being picky, being not wanting to work a fucking call center for like minimum wage in the tech industry? Am I picky for that?
I don't think so.
Exactly.
I don't think it's being picky.
It's knowing your worth.
I think it's one of those knowing your worth and continuing to try until it's like, I've done all I can do. You know?
Yeah.
I feel like those kind of positions are one of those where like you go into the customer support role because you've done everything that you can do, but you gotta work. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's being picky at all.
No. It just sucks. But que sera.
Sorry, buddy.
Let's talk on Wukong a little bit here. Let me inflate the text a bit because it's tiny text.
Blind man.
I'm wearing glasses. Black Myth Wukong becomes Steam's second most played game on Steam. 4 years ago, from the time of writing, we got to see the very first 13 minutes of gameplay of Wukong. Fans were highly enthusiastic about it, about an unreleased title that didn't even have a Steam page. Now, 4 years after then, and many teasers, trailers, and more, Game Science has created a behemoth that'll go down in gaming history. Nearly closing out 2024, Black Myth Wukong breaks and surpasses records set by titles released early in the year, from Pal World's egregious success to Helldiver 2's long-lasting player count, and later controversies that would see numbers continue to dwindle to depressing numbers, which is true. Like, none of the fucking major orders have been getting completed. 2020, from Enshrouded to even Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree massive expansion, 2024 titles set precedents that at the time we thought were anomalies, and it all culminates to Black Myth Wukong surpassing all of these and more. Released on the 19th of August, Black Myth Wukong saw its all-time player peak 3 days after release, starting with a handsome 2,223,000 players on its first day, and raising there from 2.4 million, securing its spot as the second most played title on Steam ever. The first is, of course, PUBG. The second, alongside Fortnite, that created the industry of trend battle royales. While PUBG, 3.2 million all-time player peak is yet to be passed or even challenged, really. Black Myth Wukong does pass the previous holder of the record, Pal World, which sits at 2.1 million. The players have dwindled since then, with the peak likely not being surpassed from here on. But hey, we're all open to surprises. That there have been too many this year to discount, and possibly at this point, which is true. Starting at 2024 in the gaming world started fucking strong. Every game that came out became a hit. Like, breaking records. Like every game that came out ended up breaking. I don't know why, but it seems like people are just trying to find something new to play.
Yeah.
And the worst part is, and it's what sucks though, is that like those only last for so long. And then they die off. Helldivers is even more sad because they had something really good going, and and Sony fucked it. Arrowhead fucked it too because of their nerfs, but Sony also fucked it by restricting and doing that account linking shit.
Yeah,
and that just made it like a lot of people had the wind taken out of their sails. The other thing is like Helldivers, their updates for their content has not been what they were saying it to be. Like they're drip feeding shit to us.
Yeah, it felt like it was going to be a solid flow of content.
It never
and
happened.
then from what I've heard, again, I haven't been able to play it in months because my computer won't fucking let me play it for some reason. But yeah, I mean, you saying that what was it? That big bug isn't there,
The
and
Hive Lord?
Illuminates still aren't there. Yeah,
The Hive Lord has still not been seen. They've added like that one giant charger that was like the fucking Impaler. That's what it's called. The Impaler was brought back, and then some tentacle thing that comes out of the ground that grabs you and shit. They brought that in, but the Hive Lord that they kept teasing for months has never been seen. You know, and like everything's focused on the bugs right now, the automatons or whatever. And then like the black hole thing that the players created after that one major order, when the bugs started to, like, you know, we did the pesticide, and then now we had to go and destroy the planet, make a black hole with dark matter, make a dark matter bomb. And the whole premise was that we use the dark matter bomb, and not long after that, the Illuminate starts showing up because it's like a rip in space and space time. And that's and months have gone by since that happened. Had not one time have the Illuminate been seen. They've been teasing it for the whole fucking year, and yet to be seen.
And that's what I've been like excited about, because I mean, you fight the bots and the bugs for a couple months, and you're like, all right, I know there's another enemy on the horizon. Where they at? I'm ready to see them.
The other thing that people are kind of sick and tired of are the biomes. They're more or less the same. There's no cities or anything like that. It's just like, give us some fucking cities to fight in or something. Give us population, and none of these like jungles and deserts and swamps, you know, and forests,
Ice planets, all that
like
stuff.
Ice planets, desert planets, hot planets, swamp planets, forest planets. Those are all cool. They look great, but you can only do them for so long before you're just done. You're just tired of it.
By the way, speaking of Black Myth, I'm pretty sure this is Game Science's debut game.
Yeah, I think it is too. I think this is their first game.
Which, like, talking about, you know, Helldivers and all that coming out and making really good games, like, it's a lot of these companies' debut games are
Helldivers 2 wasn't really a debut because they had Helldivers 1, but Pal World, Helldivers, very small studios making bangers. And you know what?
Yeah.
Pal World is still good. They're adding more shit to it. And even the Pal World developer was like, we did not expect this many people to play it. This wasn't made for this many people to play it. It just happened. And then like even the developers are like, if you don't want to play it anymore, that's okay. You can. There are other things to play. This is early access. We didn't want it to be this popular yet. We were just, hey, we're putting this out. It's fun. People will like it, and then we'll just add to it as we go. So they're not pressured. They don't want it. They're not having any pressure to like add more. They're doing it at their own pace, which is fine.
Very okay. And they're not, but they're also not promising.
No, they're not promising stuff.
They're not promising like Helldivers is.
No.
So, I don't know.
It's a bummer.
Wait, so did Arrowhead do the first Helldivers?
Yeah.
Oh. I don't know why. I thought they were like another studio and just kind of were like, hey, we're going to pick up maybe talk to the other people. We're like, we're going to pick up Helldivers 2 for you.
Probably. God damn, we're under a heat advisory for the next 3 days. Did you hear me? We're under a heat advisory until Wednesday.
A wind advisory.
Over 90 degrees every day. And then we have one storm coming in. Listen, I can't wait for fall. I can't wait for fall. I am such a fucking fall slut. I love that shit. I eat that shit up. I love that crispy, cold, breezy air. that's like 50s and 60s. Like, and then the fall colors and the smells, the candles. I love that shit.
Sweaters.
The sweaters, Halloween, dude. When we went to the Ren Fair, we went to the Ren Fair, and like I found a fucking outfit. I'm like, next year for Halloween, we're gonna be vampires, and I found this outfit at the Ren Fair that it was like a velvet red and black, like fucking look. You look like something from an Interview with a Vampire, but it was red. It was like crimson, like dark crimson and black. Mm-hmm. And it had like the fucking had the black ascot with a gem on it and shit, and like the silky black shirt. And I was like, "How much for all that?" It was like $300 for the jacket and the shirt. And I was like, "I want it," and it fit very well. And my wife was looking at it like,
"Surprised you didn't get it."
I'm broke, so I didn't get it because I've told her, I was like, "If you want it, you can buy it for me." But yeah, I was like, and they were really trying to get me to buy it, and then it was just like, and then we're looking at her like, we have a matching dress for that too, and then they pulled out literally a matching dress, color scheme, and everything. It was the dress that goes with it for the other person.
Did they have a website or anything for you to get it later?
I'm sure they do have a website. I'll have to. Ooh. We might have to make a stop at Ren Fair next weekend to see. Huh? This the same place that you got the dress from? Really? Oh. Well, she knows the name of the place. Her Ren Fair dress she got from that place. I didn't know you got it from there. You got that when I was with you.
Did you dress up, by the way?
Dude, yeah. Even though
would you got a picture? I want to see it.
A fucking Viking pirate. I mean, like, here, I'll send you the photo of it.
I want to go to a Ren Fair. Me and Kate are talking about going end of this year. There's one near her around the time of her birthday. She's already got like an elven type dress, and I'm like, I need to figure out something to wear. I'm not going to go there in a hoodie. So
I didn't get photos from yesterday, but we literally wore the same outfit this year that we did last year. So I will, let me pull this up. That's a dead deer. I'm not sending you that. Let's see. We went before. It was before Norway. So. Well, yeah, it was the photo that.
That's not what I was wearing.
Oh, that wasn't the dress you were wearing? Well, it's a different one, but he was like, "Did you at least dress up?" And I'm like, "Yeah," but I mean, my outfit was still the same. My outfit hasn't changed. I wear the same shit every fucking year I go. The only thing is also, it is hotter than all fuck every year we go to these.
See, ours is going to be in the middle of the fall, so.
I wish our Ren Fair, dude, I wish our Ren Fair was in the fall. The Texas one's in the fall? But it's Texas, so it's still hotter than all fuck.
No, it's nicer.
It's what, nicer than here where it's like 90 and grimy and shitty, and I fucking want to die every time.
Y'all can come out to Utah.
We could come out to Utah. You know what? I was even thinking about this the other day. I was like, I wish we had like a fall or a Western version of Ren Fair, like a Westworld, where it's like wild,
tight,
dude, Wild West theme, where everyone's dressed like goddamn cowboys and walking around with prop guns and cowboy hats and cowboy boots, and you got them fucking hooers over at the saloon.
Hooers.
I'm fucking hooers.
I would just love. I would honestly love to do that, to do the dress up, but mainly to go in the gear, right? And go up to the saloon and kick in the swinging doors.
Kick the swinging doors open, like, pour me a whiskey bar, keep right there, you know, like,
with the guy in the corner on the piano.
And he's the fucking the little dude in the piano and shit in the back and stuff. Why the fuck can I not find this picture? I don't even know when we took this picture. Was it couldn't have been 2022. I didn't have that out. I thought it was last summer. Oh, here it is. I found it. Here we go for the viewers to see.
This is the new one.
My ring light's still fucking. You can't see it, and the fucking ring light's reflecting on it. But I sent you the picture of it.
Oh, nice.
Her dress is different, though.
Sweet.
Yeah, her dress is different.
That's just the corset that I bought.
The corset is still the same, right? You have two different. You have another one.
I have 2 outfits.
Oh, so you have 2 corsets?
So I wear that with like with the
This is the one they fucking turbo tied it on you.
yes, I wear that with the cape, the sparkly cape.
Oh, when you want to dress all roguish and shit.
Yeah, and I wear boots and like black leggings.
Boots and black leggings, yeah. And I just dress like a fucking half retarded Viking. So my bracers are also different. Those bracers in that photo fucking sucked. They hurt so bad to wear, but I got new bracers. I wish the bracers I got had buckles on them instead of the string. The string is just so uncomfortable.
I mean, well, never mind. I was gonna say, if you know how to sew them on, you could just take the straps off and just sew some buckles on there.
What I want is I want to find like a straight up tunic. You know, like an actual like Norse style tunic to wear. Because the shirt I'm wearing is like stiff, it's uncomfortable, it's hot in that fucking thing. I mean, in the outfit that I want to buy, I would never wear that at the Ren Fair because it is definitely not for summer wear. It's thick. It is thick. It's a jacket, bro, and I am not wearing a jacket in 90-degree weather. And like you can double style it though. You could have the fucking dressed up vampire look, or you can undo the fucking coat and be pirate.
Pretty tight.
And it looks very similar to the kind of pirate garb that I would wear on Sea of Thieves. So the crimson, red, and black.
fun.
So yeah. So I can use that outfit in 2 ways.
I had a what was it? I was a pirate for Halloween a couple years ago, and I think it kind of looks similar to what you're talking about, but instead of black sleeves, there's white. Let's see if I can find it really quick. Hold on.
What'd you say,
2
babe?
seconds.
Oh, yeah, Buffa backpack. She's playing Animal Crossing.
Here you go. This was my Halloween outfit a couple years ago.
What the fuck? I fucking love that. Is it? What is in your hand?
A beer.
Oh,
We're at the bar.
I mean, the photo's a little grainy through the camera, so it looked like you were holding a lute.
Here's my old roommate. That's his get up.
Just a couple of pirates.
Just a couple of pirates.
There's a couple of pirates.
Who do we have? It was a fun night.
That seems like a fun night. All right, before we wrap it up, let's watch some fucked up airborne videos. So the first one we're gonna watch is called "Paratrooper Accidentally Deploys His Reserve." This one's funny. All right, for the viewers to watch. You ready to watch this shit?
Yes. Count me down.
All right, 3, 2, 1. How long is this? That's a minute. So yeah, so this dude's sitting at the ramp. He's checking. This is basically what he's doing is he's like checking the ramp to clear before. So he's a jump master, right? He's checking the ramp. He's checking for hazards. He's watching for the drop zone because, hang on, let me pause real quick. So what the jump master does when they're clearing the door is they're leaning out, they're watching for hazards outside the ramp, but they're also looking for the drop zone. So there's a marker on the drop zone that you can see from the bird, and they're watching for that, right? And they're checking wind speed, they're watching for the DZ and all that stuff. So that's what he's doing. Now let's play. Just having a good old airborne day. And then things will go very wrong soon. There it goes. Bye.
Wow. Dude, the other dude was like, what the fuck?
He's like, he just gets fucking yoinked out there. It's funny because you watch the ripcord get pulled right off. Yep. And then his chute opens and he's gone. He's just fucking gone.
How did that happen?
The wind speed, the wind. So like how a T11 parachute's reserve works is that it's got this. Let me see if I can pull it up. A T11 reserve. So a T11 reserve parachute has like a little pull tab on the front, right? And it's got a red handle. I guess this is the best photo I can get of it. So if you like Google image search it. So for the viewers right here, it's this one. It's got this red handle on it. And that flap, it's straight up just a flap that the handle's on. And it's tucked in top and bottom with a couple of cables on there. So when it pulls, the spring pulls with it. And you get enough pressure behind that flap where it just pops off, that fucking reserve's going. Because there's a spring inside of it that shoots it out. And the whole point of a reserve is to be thrown away from you and catch air. And that poor bastard, he fucking, yeah, his opened up and caught it. Now this guy, I looked into it. He was fine. A couple of bruises. I think he might have. So the first comment here said, "I was the load master on this mission. That is me on the far right of the screen. We were flying around Fort Stewart. The official drop score was 10 miles at 6. His reserve somehow wiggled out, and he was physically extracted from the plane. While he looked up to the static line, while he was hooked up to the static line, so both of his chutes deployed. He landed safely in a field. His first text back to the plane was, 'I'm okay.' His second text was, 'Please, dear God, tell me you got that on video.' We circled him for about 30 minutes until the ground guys could get him. By far the craziest thing I've seen." Now that's always good when you get a text, "I'm good," and then the next is, "Please tell me you have that on video." But yeah, it's like he's just sitting here. It's like just sitting there, have an airborne day. Bye.
Have an airborne day. It's like a rag doll.
Oh yeah, because like basically it opens because the fucking reserve is on the front of your chest, right? So when that opens up, it's just like it just pulls them.
Do you have it on the frame right as it's pulling him while he's still in a knee?
No, but I probably could. Hang on, let me kind of back up a little bit. It's just like you see
It's like
so if you pause right when the chute's open, you'll see a big red thing. That's the spring, right? So this red thing is the spring that deploys the reserve. And then as it's going, his fucking risers are just like right there, and he's just like, "Oh fuck!" And it happens so quick, you don't even realize it's happening until it's happened, right? Oh shit! Just like his fucking legs just like dangling behind him.
oh, funny.
Oh man, not service connected. Anyway. So now this second one right here, what is this second one?
Career-ending
airborne accident. So we'll kind of start it from the beginning, and I'll tell you where to fast forward to. Now, and I can also break down everything that went wrong here, right? So it's like a normal jump. This is what it looks like. He's the first jumper out, which is honestly the best jumper to be because you get the best exit. You kick out perfect. So pretty much he's just standing there waiting for the green light. And then he's going to get, probably like after this road, he'll get the green light. Because this is, yep, there it is. So he gets green light go and stuff. And, you know, this is, it's so quiet when you're up there too. I mean, he's dropping with a T10. And then, see, babe, did you see that? Okay, remember when I pause it real quick. So remember,
where am I? Where are you in the video right now?
1:19.
I'm at 34 seconds.
All right, so I'll kind of pause it for you, but babe, watch this. All right, when he's in the air, you see him look to the right, and you'll see a guy kicking for his life.
I see that.
You see that? That is the thing I told you about when your risers twist, and you gotta fucking grab him and then just fucking kick to your life, like your life counts on it. Like that's what he was doing. He was untwisting his parachute. All right, so now I'm at 1:16, 1:15. Ready?
All right, hold on. All right.
And he's over there laughing. He's laughing at it. He's like, "Ha ha, so funny, so quirky."
What's up, sir?
What's up, sir? Just having a good airborne day, right? He's on his way down, but it's all nice and quiet. You know, he's just floating, just checking. And he's doing what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to watch the below. No hazards. He's grabbing his slip to steer away from the road. And, you know, just kind of like looking around. And now he's like, "Oh, shit." Because he knows he's like,
Hey, better do something.
I better do something. He's about to have a bad day, and he knows it. Let me kind of turn it up a little bit. And he's releasing his gear. That's what you do right before you land. Now, here's where he makes his mistake. He's going towards the road. He doesn't land on the road.
About that pile of rocks.
This is what he does. Watch. He looks down.
What happened?
He's just laying on the ground screaming. He broke his legs.
Don't hurt me too much. It fucking hurts so bad. Oh god. Oh god. It hurts
How?
so bad.
On the landing?
Yeah. Yeah, I know exactly what he did. So if you watch his landing, right? So let's go back to where he hit the ground, right? So if you notice, he looks down. And as soon as he lands, he fucking, you can tell by the way he lands where he just hits and then goes forward and then falls backwards. He extended his legs. He reached for the ground. And that's why they tell you when you are about to land, you look forward and you put your feet and knees together and you bend your knees slightly. And you always look forward because it is your natural reaction to when you're looking at the ground to reach for it. And that's why they tell you eyes on the horizon, because you will extend your legs to land, and you don't want to do that. And that's what he did. If you look right here, right before his pop and scream, he's like looking down. Can you hear his scream? Huh? But yeah, that's what he did. Have an airborne day.
Oh, that sounds awful. Oh, I don't like hearing it. It's making me like my skin crawl.
It's funny because and he fucked up. He could have, honestly, you can land on that road. It's gonna hurt, but it wouldn't have been nearly as bad as what he just did. And the reason why he did that was because he was trying to avoid the road. He was looking at the ground, making sure he didn't land on the road. He didn't want to land on the gravel. He was like, man, that's going to hurt if I land on that. But he's like trying to slip away from it. But he's also looking down to make sure he doesn't land on it, which is not what you're supposed to do. You're always supposed to just let your body fucking eat it. Because it will hurt, but it won't be as bad as a fucking broken femur. Because when you land like that and you break your fucking femur, you'll get a break. Your femur will go like this.
Yeah.
And the only way to do it is the medic has to reset it. So he puts one foot in your balls and another foot around your leg, and he pulls and resets that shit and splints it. Have an airborne day. Next one. Damn. What's this one? It says, damn lucky I parachute hang up. What the fuck does that mean? Is this the Russians? Yep. Okay. So this is funny. Pause it real quick once you start it. Now, the way that these fucking idiots jump, they jump in a T-pose. I don't know why they do this, because what's about to happen is why you don't do this. Press play. Yup. Yeah, you see it slow motion, his fucking risers grab his arm. His bicep is torn 100%.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that's why I don't know why. Is it the Russians? Who are these guys? Parajumpers got his parachute tangled up with the plane, and now guess what? He's a towed jumper, where the plane is dragging him.
What do they do for that?
They pull you back in or cut you away. There's only two. If they have to make an attempt to pull you back in the plane, and if they can't, they cut your static line, and you have to pull your reserve. Hopefully you're conscious when it happens, because a lot of times when towed jumpers happen, they're not conscious. So they want to make sure you're conscious before they cut away, because inside of the U.S. planes, there's a hook that grabs your static line and machine drags you back into the bird. Otherwise, because you have no idea, you have wind resistance, wind speed, and your weight. It is almost impossible to manually pull you back in. Now, the other thing is, this is a ramp jump. So it's not the static line's not going down the side of the plane and you're being towed behind it. But this dude's a towed jumper and he's being dragged by his fucking arm. And he's just hanging there for minutes too. But the whole fucking jumping with your arms out, like you're supposed to, if this is Russia, they're going to cut him. Yep. They cut him away. And there he goes. He pulls his reserve. And this is the only reason why I know this is some Eastern European country is the parachute. It's a white dome. And those parachutes fucking suck. And the next video is why they suck. I'm going to show you why they suck in the next video. If this dude's arm isn't torn out of his fucking socket, I would be very surprised. But let's go back and look at that again. What Let's look at that again. The first
Go
guy,
back and watch it again.
yeah, like so the first guy jumps out, T-pose, arms, legs out, everything's good. Second dude does the same thing, and then that's why you don't do that. Have an airborne day. Next video, Russian parachute landing, fail. Now, Poland uses these parachutes, and I've seen this happen, and this has also happened to me, but not with these parachutes. And I'll tell you why these parachutes suck. Press play. So that big white dome of death, right? So he lands, and then he just starts getting skull dragged everywhere.
Oh, shit.
He's not even on the ground. It's like pulling him around and flopping him in
flying
circles.
around.
And this is why these chutes suck. They have no canopy release assembly. And for straight 2 minutes, this dude's just getting skull dragged across the drop zone. Now press pause.
Sucks.
Pause it real quick. So U.S. parachutes have what's called a canopy release assembly. The canopy release assembly are two clips right here that you, when you're being, and the reason why they're there is so that you can get out of the parachute when it drags you like that. So you open, all you have to do is open one side, put your thumb in the release, pull down, and it releases the chute from one side and it collapses. Those chutes don't have that. In fact, you have, the only way to get out of that is to cut the parachute off of you. So a lot of those chutes come with a knife. They're very dull, by the way. They come with a knife tucked behind the reserve, and you pull it out. And if this is happening to you, because the what you're supposed to do is to get, if you're not being, to avoid being dragged, you have to get up, twist the risers, and chase after the canopy and jump on it so it doesn't drag you like this. But if you're in a situation like that, where like this dude is, where the air is just not letting you touch the ground, you're supposed to take that knife, grab one side, cut that fucking thing off. And this poor bastard, press play now, is just being ragdolled everywhere.
He's getting fucking air, dude.
I know he is. And then as soon as he lands on the ground, he's being dragged for like forever. He's like trying to pull the chute down to the ground so that he can chase it. And he just can't get it to do it. And I think eventually right here, yep, he's being dragged again. he's being like Wild West style. Like this poor bastard just cannot catch a break with this. He's gonna be fucking. Dude's gonna make it to Ukraine before he fucking gets out of that chute. And then let's see, does it eventually go to the ground so he can get up? Nope, he's still not up yet, and it's still dragging him. It's just like this reminds me of Marty McFly being dragged in Back to the Future 3, and I don't even think he's conscious anymore.
He looks lifeless.
I mean, when you're being dragged like that, you basically are lifeless. I've been dragged like this before. Not like this extent, but I've been dragged a bit. And there is nothing you can do. His buddy's chasing him. There's guys down, like this dude's running. Why is that dude just standing there, just filming?
He's in front of it.
They can't catch him.
He tripped.
I know.
The other dude just watched him go past.
And now the shoot, like they're. This dude they can't get him. I feel like the dude either can't get up or he's unconscious or just stopped trying. Yeah. No, I don't know. It's all Russians, so who fucking knows? Hey, dude with the video camera, could you please put it down for a second and help me? The laughing continues after he's clearly unconscious in major trouble. God bless Russia. And now this is the last one. This happened on the jump after I got out. This was the jump, literally the next jump after I got out of this unit, because this is my unit. And this, someone went to jail for. And I'll explain to you why. And it was the parachute rigger. He got arrested for sabotage. This is called rained Humvees. Now, and this is what a hot drop, this is the one thing that everybody on the ground after a jump prays happens. We want to see vehicles burn in on a jump, right? We love that shit. We love it. Press play. This is in Grafenveer, either is it Hohenfels or Grafenveer? It's one of the two. Okay. So that's the vehicle right there. And listen to the guy on the ground. He's like, please burn in, please burn in.
Burn it, damn it. Oh, yes! Yes!
Damn.
Bam. Now this doesn't just happen once.
Yes! Woo! Holy fuck!
We love this shit.
Fuck yeah! There's nothing left. Burn in, baby.
Watch this.
Yeah, that was a Humvee. Yeah!
Another one.
Damn.
That's not all, by the way.
What?
There's another one coming.
Fuck!
This is when they realize, uh-oh, someone did this on purpose.
Holy shit, dude.
Right here.
Called it. There's another one. Oh, there it is. Yes!
There it is. Bam.
This is crazy.
Huh? So the parachute, so here's how you do it on purpose. The parachute rigger is the one that sets these parachutes up. And if you have one, that's one thing. Sometimes things go wrong. When you have three, someone fucking did something. Now let's actually, I'm going to pull up the article of this real quick. Parachute rigger charged over Humvee. Let's see.
Damage report for defective right mirror. Cause. Rest of the vehicle landed on it.
Now, this is 2018 soldier found guilty of cutting parachute straps in botched airdrop. This is Army Times. So here, let me send this to you. So soldier found guilty of cutting parachute straps in botched Humvee airdrop. So a Germany-based cavalry scout, it was, of course it was a Cav scout, was convicted Wednesday of destruction of government property and making false official statement for his role in a botched Humvee airdrop that destroyed 3 of the vehicles during April 2016 training exercise. This was like 2 months after I got out of that unit. So a judge found Sergeant John Skipper, who was in charge of verifying that the parachutes were properly rigged, had intentionally cut their straps, causing hundreds of thousands of dollars in damage, according to a 7th Army release. Skipper was sentenced to a reduction of grade to E1 and a bad conduct discharge by court-martial panel consisting of enlisted soldiers and officers, the release said. Oh, look at it. Here's the fucking close-up video of the fucking chute failing right there on that bird, on that fucking vehicle. So video of the incident made rounds on social media soon after the C-130 drop, which was part of Sabre Junction, as we like to call it in the 173rd, Operation Sabre Malfunction, because some shit always goes wrong. Always. Sabre Junction 1. I was there for Sabre Junction 1, and everything was fucked the whole time. People died. People got in accidents. Like, and it was Romanians. They died. And it was like, and people were CS gassing people in the medical tent without actual, like,
I remember you telling about that.
Sabre Junction 1. That's when this shit happened. And everything went wrong on this fucking training exercise. So every time Sabre Junction, we called it welcome to Operation Sabre Malfunction, because shit like this happens. Anyway, so at Hohenfels, it was Hohenfels. In Germany, a soldier filming on the ground could be heard cheering and laughing. Yep. So he received a letter of reprimand last year for his unprofessional conduct, both on camera and sharing the video. So they tried charging the dude recording too.
They always will.
They always will. So Skipper was a member of B Troop, 1st Squadron, 91st Cavalry Regiment, part of the Italy-based 173rd Airborne Brigade combat team. He faced up to 10 years confinement for 3 charges of destruction of government property and 1 charge of lying to investigators. Now, it was a matter of time before shit like that happened, because they were making us do shit like that regularly for nothing. Always doing shit like this. Making us do all these fucking useless exercises, and all these in the process of getting to that point was always a shit show. and the op tempo was high, and no one was getting any breaks. Constant jump, train. Go to Ukraine, go to Romania, go to Latvia, go to Poland, go to Ukraine, all that shit, and it never stopped for years. And finally, and I think that's what was going on here, is this dude was like, I'm fucking tired of this shit. So he was like, let's give these dudes a break. Cut the fucking parachutes. And the reason why he got charged is because obviously destruction of government property, but this was hazardous, right? Like if there were dudes on the ground, that could have been catastrophic. Because it's like, if you're willing to do that to the vehicles, how do we know that you didn't do that to people?
Yeah.
So, and it was also funny that it was a very army thing to do, to try to charge the fucking dude on the ground recording it.
Yeah.
You know, because
for laughing
and encouraging it, because let's be honest, that is the one thing that we all looked forward to on a heavy drop. Please, one of them burn in. I want to see one of these vehicles just drop. And it fucking happened. But then not only did it happen one time, it happened 3 times. It was like, oh yeah, yes, yeah. Have an airborne day.
Have an airborne day. That's wild. I want to. I wish the guy walked up to him. I want to see how fucked up they are.
I don't know. Because once you're off the drop zone, you're not really supposed to go back on the drop zone. Because you're supposed to get to your rally points and then wait for the heavy drop. Then you go get the vehicles. Then you leave. But because of that, it ended up being an investigation. So now no one was going to that DZ unless except for the people that are authorized to. So like the everyday guy wasn't going to go out there and like fucking record it, because it's like, we have a mission to do. That's their job. Let's go.
Gotcha.
So that's why that happened. Yeah, it was carrying Humvees, howitzers, and supply containers with ammo. Conducted a heavy equipment drop on July of 2017. That was in Romania in support of Saber Guardian. Saber Guardian 17 is an exercise under the U.S. European Command's Joint Exercise Program. Exercise executed by U.S. Army Europe. Yep. Don't miss those days. Don't miss them at all. But that's it. That's all we got.
I like it.
Yeah.
That was good. I like that. I like that. And with the videos.
And with the videos. And with the
nice.
fucking the fails. Have an airborne day.
Have
an airborne day. It's funny. My wife's never watched shit like that. I don't ever show her shit like that.
The only one that got me was the guy breaking his legs.
His fault, honestly. He did it to himself.
I know, but still, it's like, yeah, because you can hear him snap.
You hear the pop when he lands, and he's like, oh! Yeah. His screams of pain, like she says, you take joy in people's pain and discomfort, and I do, I really do, especially when you do it to yourself like that. I'm not sorry.
I don't.
You know, Tony.
I wouldn't ask you to be.
Tony told me there's a few times where he tried to break his legs on a jump, just so that he can fucking stop doing what he was doing. All of us like pray to get hurt on a jump until we actually get hurt on a jump, and it fucking hurts, and then you're just like permanently damaged for the rest of your life. Me.
You're like, I kind of wish that didn't happen.
I mean, on the other hand, it's just like, hey, I mean, I'm getting compensated for it for the most part, so fuck it. But yeah. But that's it. That's all we got for you guys today. So
hope y'all enjoyed. That was fun.
Yeah, hope you all enjoyed it. We'll see you in the next episode of the Barracks Party, though. And yeah, so absolutely. Thank you, Regiment. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, all you people that enjoy these things. Hopefully, I guarantee we'll watch. We get a fucking copyright claim on one of these stupid fucking videos. I'll be so shocked.
Get it on the guy's scream.
Like, yeah, I don't know. Last 2 videos I put out there has been a copyright claim of some kind. And I don't know why. The first one, I was like, copyright on what? I don't get it. It's always a video that we were watching within an article that has the copyright on it. Oh, I know the first one I did, because I put a promo in there that I had made, and the music, there was music in that was copyright claimed. And then the TikTok dude, that when he was doing the fuck it all, watch, now I'm gonna get a copyright claim on that.
I'm about to say, you might be careful there.
Got a copyright claim, so whatever, dude. Whatever. And they say it doesn't affect you. Bullshit. Discoverability gets affected. Always does.
Yep.
Anyway, well, we will see you kids on the next episode of the Barracks Party. Thanks for hanging out with us today. We hope you enjoyed. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. And as always, we'll see you next week. Bye, everyone. Bye, guys.
Glory, glory, what a hell of a way to die. Glory, glory, what a hell of a way to die. Glory, glory, what a hell of a way to die.